prison system is for transgender surgeries, that you basically just said a continuation of the current policies, which began under Trump, and that was like an enormously effective ad. Like you talk to like the regular people who are like quote undecided voters or whatever, kind of on the fence or don't really like Trump, and that's where they were at during this election. It was like inflation is the Democrats' fault, and the Democrats are woke. I mean, like it seems so.
Well, you know what's crazy is you ask Democrats. What I'm trying to say is if you ask Republicans what they think the top five issues that Democrats have, like what they should be campaigning for, what their issues are. You ask Republicans what you think Democrats' issues are, and then you ask Democrats what their real issues are, and they're not the same five.
Yeah, well, what do Republicans say? Transgenders,
DEI, exactly.
Open borders, taking our guns.
Always, first thing you push it here, and it's just not cool, bro. Because under force.
It's a product of like a whole bunch of other things that they reject. Like what we stumble into. It's not that they eventually have a problem with someone's like might, but it's not like, oh my god, someone's becoming trans or identifying as trans. It's just
But
Democrats are upset about it because they're told by Republican media to be upset about it.
Right.
It's like less than 1% of the population.
Other than responding to Republicans like clamoring about trans, in and of itself, like Democrats don't talk about trans.
That's why they had to.
That's my point.
The clip of Kamala Harris that they used for the Kamala is for they, them, Trump is for you. That clip was from 2019. They would have used something more recent. I don't know if she talked about transgender people once during the entire campaign.
That's my point. Like Republicans are talking about issues that they think and narratives they think that they're being pushed upon by Democrats, and there's no such evidence of that.
Yeah, that was the thing of I said something that I believe is an objectively true statement, that Kamala Harris ran a fairly centrist campaign that basically sidestepped all of the woke stuff.
Well, she lost the campaign when she was asked the question, what would you do differently? And she said nothing. And the word she said, no, I'm not saying she was silent. She said, I really wouldn't change much.
I know what you're saying, yeah.
And that's from a policy perspective, it was a great answer. And from a rhetoric and campaign perspective,
everyone thinks everything is terrible because Republicans control the narrative.
Exactly.
And the day that Trump won the election, all of the sudden Republican sentiment about the economy shot through the fucking roof. All of a sudden everything's amazing. Oh my god, the unemployment rate's 2.6%. The unemployment rate's already factoring in Trump's victory.
That's crazy.
And the issue is that a huge percentage of the population is totally disconnected from reality when it comes to the economy, and you're not allowed to say that because then you're out of touch.
Wait, what's on those sides?
Not exactly what you're explaining. They do the big, like how many people, like, oh my god, I'm like so everything's gonna go to shit. It's like, dude, this is just how people are. I don't apply that.
Because there's evidence to show that Trump's previous administration has put the country in a less favorable position than it was than prior to his.
So now it's not a global thing. Now it's a Trump thing.
So, yeah, it is Trump. That's literally what we're saying. That's what we're arguing.
Yeah, you can go both ways.
No, you can't go both ways. I can literally go down pillar by pillar of American society on how we are less successful than we were prior to Trump.
Are you talking economically?
I'm talking economically. I'm talking public health. I'm talking education. I'm talking literally every pillar of American society is now less favorable now than it was prior to Trump's election.
makes like very clear that like okay, well you can take these both ways. You can make it look very favorable or not so favorable from either one of them. So
Basically, we saw a bunch of economic trends that happened prior to Trump continued under Trump, and then the pandemic happened, and then things went to shit under Trump, and then we obviously don't blame Trump for that, and then Biden takes over, the economy's shit, the economy gets better, and somehow that gets blamed on Biden. We'll be back in a minute.
Is anything really that thinks you're doing well right now, though? Like, no. Everything is so messed up. Like, what do you mean, like?
Why is the market going down?
I don't know. Probably. I mean, yeah. So, I mean, interest rates, right? One thing. But I'm not sure. It's not good for me though.
Nope, not good for me either.
Not good.
I was doing just well yesterday. I'm so upset with myself
Yeah. What you doing?
because I had a stock that finally went over plus for me, and today it crashed again. And I was literally waiting for over 8 months to sell this fucking stock.
I don't say what you mean. No, you don't want to have it anymore?
No, I don't want to have it. I want to sell it so badly, but I don't want to sell it at loss. And I had like
What is
about. It's a Dutch one, ASMR.
The chip maker?
Yeah,
Or the chip,
chip maker. Yeah.
The lithography machine maker?
hmm It went well, and then I bought it. It went really well, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna sell it, and then I forgot it one day, and it crashed like crazy. When the huge crash happened.
Is this the company that has a monopoly on lithography?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably a pretty good investment over time.
I want to get rid of it.
Why do you make an experience about Google Internet?
I would hold it.
Well, I will buy it later again, but like I'm not. I mean, I lost hope in this chip.
Well, they make chips, all right? They make their.
I know, but it doesn't require the machine.
Wait, so Google can really? I don't believe that. Can you send me an article? As far as I know, every processor requires
it's a quantum computer.
machines from this company because they, yeah.
Are they? I don't know. I thought there were more chip companies.
Yeah, they're
There's
not
multiple
chip
chip companies, but they all buy machines from this place.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hmm.
What's it called again?
Yeah.
What's it called? AS.
ML. ASML in Dutch.
Yeah, I was reading about this and I was like so shocked about how
I thought it was a Dutch company.
tight their monopoly is on this thing and how important it is.
Oh, it is Dutch. But even their numbers were good this year. Despite that, they still had like a loss in the stock market. I don't know. It's really unpredictable. It's like I hate unpredictability right now, and it's boring to keep the same thing and see the shit on red all the time.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of leveraged ETFs. ETF 222?
No, I'm not.
It's an ETF that basically just follows the market, right? So if the market goes down, this ETF goes down. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So yeah, it's an ETF that tracks the 100 largest non-financial firms listed on that. And that's G2Q. And G2QQ is a 3x leverage exposure to that ETF.
Mhm.
So when that goes, so let's say the market goes down 1%, GQQQ will go down 3% approximately, based on, it's not exact, but but over time, if you believe in markets growing, which they tend to do, it's a good investment. But day to day,
Can we get like called on it though? Like when it's basically like you need to they want the money.
unless you buy options.
It's only options.
What's up?
It's only options.
Yeah. This is just a stock. It's just an ETF.
The leverage, that's not
Oh, well, now they might hold financial instruments that could have margin call and stuff, but yeah.
that's okay.
No. At first, I asked whatever you just read. Didn't I put the thing?
I'm thinking like I should buy more though right now because the market's down.
Yeah, now it's market down, right? Yeah. Hold on, where are you?
It's down 8% this week. I'm wondering if I should buy more.
No, that's all I ask. What's your name? Lou. Make a picture of how you. Yeah, I had like the last one I did, like me and my Mongolian journey and that. That was my last tweet, and then I said make a picture of how you think I look like, and then I think it just looks at my profile picture, and then it made this Chinese woman. And then I kept on saying, okay, I gave my ethnicity, and I said I'm Georgian, Russian, and Jewish, and then gave me this girl, the second. You did what?
I turned off margin on my account. But I can't. Well, it's down 9% this week because it's a 3x leveraged ETF.
Doesn't the girl look like me, the last two pair?
Yeah, that's good. That's
Where is this?
No, I was using the left one.
the bottom left one. And it's not like fucking serious.
No, there's something. She has a little too much Asian eyes. I don't have eyes like that. Also her eyebrows are similar. But yeah, the rest is pretty much similar.
So
My nose is bigger. Definitely.
there are stocks that track market volatility. So if you're worried about volatility, right? If the market is more volatile, there are ETFs that go up, regardless if the market goes up or down. It just depends on how much.
Really? But then
Yeah.
everyone would buy from there.
No, because markets in general go stably up over time.
I know, but like, why
Fuck
would you
him.
buy from there then?
Because they don't believe that the market's going to be volatile.
Oh, okay.
So you're saying basically bet on.
So we can short.
Please don't stop. I'm just trying to be. Beware of what you become.
Oh, what would I do? What would I do?
Yeah.
They straddle options. So you have calls and puts, right? And those calls and
This artist cuts gold sheets into strips and then into threads, which he then weaves in this manner. In fact, he creates luxurious tea filters for the Chinese, which are often so expensive that an ordinary person cannot afford to buy them. Their price can reach up to $9,000. Each opening must be of the same size. After that, he hammers them into the shape of the gold filter mesh he wants to make, then polishes and refines them to shape the edges, and secures them tightly so they never fall apart. These gold threads are cut by hand. Then we present you with the final product of the pure gold filter mesh. This artist cuts gold sheets into strips and then into What's not one thing in your house that you spend so much money?
Oh my god. Something because this was like one of those that like be a great.
As you know, I'm quite fond of saying that magic is not what it appears to be. And when it comes to the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, that is especially the case. In fact, when I say magic is not what it appears to be.
Amazon workers across the country. I want to speak to the brother out there. We're Morse, and we're Morse to the true meaning of it. So the reestablishment of the right is the realignment of the world. Through a fraternal modality.
Hello everyone, Jules here.
Run up your engine!
Hey friends, okay, so today therapy has always been such a scary idea to me because I simply did not know where to get started. I didn't.
Introduction. 1. The book. This book was dictated in Cairo between noon and 1 p.m. on 3 successive days, April 8th, 9th, and 10th in the year 1904. The author called himself Aiwass and claimed to be the minister of Hur-Par Krat, that is, a messenger from the forces ruling this earth at present, as will be explained later on. How could he prove that he was, in fact, a being of a kind superior to any of the human race, and so entitled to speak with authority? Evidently, he must show knowledge and power such as no man has ever been known to possess.
He showed his knowledge chiefly by the use of cipher or cryptogram in certain passages to set forth recondite facts, including some events which had yet to take place, such that no human being could possibly be aware of them. Thus, the proof of his claim exists in the manuscript itself. It is independent of any human witness. The study of these passages necessarily demands supreme human scholarship to interpret. It needs years of intense application. A great deal has still to be worked out, but enough has been discovered to justify his claim. The most skeptical intelligence is compelled to admit its truth. This matter is best studied under the Master Therion, whose years of arduous research have led him to enlightenment. On the other hand, the language of most of the book is admirably simple, clear, and vigorous. No one can read it without being stricken in the very core of his being. The more than human power of Aiwass is shewn by the influence of his master and of the book upon actual events, and history fully supports the claim made by him. These facts are appreciable by everyone, but are better understood with the help of the Master Therion. The full detailed account of the events leading up to the dictation of this book, with facsimile reproduction of the manuscript and an essay by the Master Therion, is published in The Equinox of the Gods. 2. The Universe. This book explains the universe. The elements are Nuit, space, that is, the total of possibilities of every kind, and Hadit, any point which has experience of these possibilities. This idea is, for literary convenience, symbolized by the Egyptian goddess Nuit, a woman bending over like the arch of the night sky. Hadit is symbolized as a winged globe at the heart of Nuit. Every event is a uniting of some one monad with one of the experiences possible to it. Every man and every woman is a star. That is, an aggregate of such experiences, constantly changing with each fresh event, which affects him or her either consciously or subconsciously. Each one of us has thus a universe of his own, but it is the same universe for each one as soon as it includes all possible experience. This implies the extension of consciousness to include all other consciousness. In our present stage, the object that you see is never the same as the one I see. We infer that it is the same because your experience tallies with mine on so many points that the actual differences of our observation are negligible. For instance, if a friend is walking between us, you see only his left side, I see his right. But we agree that it is the same man, although we may differ not only as to what we may see of his body, but as to what we know of his qualities. This conviction of identity grows stronger as we see him more often and get to know him better. Yet all the time, neither of us can know anything of him at all, beyond the total impression made on our respective minds. The above is an extremely crude attempt to explain a system which reconciles all existing schools of philosophy. 3. The Law of Thelema. This book lays down a simple code of conduct. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will. There is no law beyond do what thou wilt. This means that each of us stars is to move on our own true orbit, as marked out by the nature of our position, the law of our growth, the impulse of our past experiences. All events are equally lawful, and every one necessary in the long run for all of us, in theory. But in practice, only one act is lawful for each one of us at any given moment. Therefore, duty consists in determining to experience the right event from one moment of consciousness to another. Each action or emotion is an act of love, the uniting with one or another part of Nuit. Each such act must be under will, chosen so as to fulfill and not to thwart the true nature of the being concerned. The technical methods of achieving this are to be studied in magic, or acquired by personal instruction from the Master Therion and his appointed assistants. 4. The New Aeon. The third chapter of the book is difficult to understand and may be very repugnant to many people born before the date of the book, April 1904. It tells us the characteristics of the period on which we are now entered. Superficially, they appear appalling. We see some of them already with terrifying clarity. But fear not. It explains that certain vast stars or aggregates of experience may be described as gods. One of these is in charge of the destinies of this planet for periods of 2,000 years. In the history of the world, as far as we know accurately, are three such gods. Isis, the mother, when the universe was conceived as simple nourishment drawn directly from her. This period is marked by matriarchal government. Next, beginning 500 BC, Osiris, the father, when the universe was imagined as catastrophic, love, death, resurrection, as the method by which experience was built up. This corresponds to patriarchal systems. Now, Horus, the child, in which we come to perceive events as a continual growth partaking in its elements of both these methods, and not to be overcome by circumstance. This present period involves the recognition of the individual as the unit of society. We realize ourselves as explained in the first paragraphs of this essay. Every event, including death, is only one more accretion to our experience, freely willed by ourselves from the beginning and therefore also predestined. This god, Horus, has a technical title, Heru-Ra-Ha, a combination of twin gods, Ra-Hur-Khut and Hur-Par-Krat. The meaning of this doctrine must be studied in magic. He is symbolized as a hawk-headed god enthroned. He rules the present period of 2,000 years, beginning in 1904. Everywhere his government is taking root. Observe for yourselves the decay of the sense of sin, the growth of innocence and irresponsibility, the strange modifications of the reproductive instinct with a tendency to become bisexual or epicene, the childlike confidence in progress combined with nightmare fear of catastrophe, against which we are yet half unwilling to take precautions. Consider the outcrop of dictatorships, only possible when moral growth is in its earliest stages, and the prevalence of infantile cults like communism, fascism, pacifism, health crazes, occultism in nearly all its forms, religions sentimentalized to the point of practical extinction. Consider the popularity of the cinema, the wireless, the football pools and guessing competitions, all devices for soothing fractious infants, no seed of purpose in them. Consider sport, the babyish enthusiasms and rages which it excites, whole nations disturbed by disputes between boys. Consider war, the atrocities which occur daily and leave us unmoved and hardly worried. We are children. How this new eon of Horus will develop, how the child will grow up, these are for us to determine, growing up ourselves in the way of the law of Thelema under the enlightened guidance of the Master Therion. 5. The next step. Democracy daughters. Ferocious fascism, cackling communism, equally frauds, cavort crazily all over the globe. They are hemming us in. They are abortive births of the child, the new eon of Horus. Liberty stirs once more in the womb of time. Evolution makes its changes by anti-socialistic ways. The abnormal man who foresees the trend of the times and adapts circumstance intelligently is laughed at, persecuted, often destroyed by the herd. But he and his heirs, when the crisis comes, are survivors. Above us today hangs a danger never yet paralleled in history. We suppress the individual in more and more ways. We think in terms of the herd. War no longer kills soldiers, it kills all indiscriminately. Every new measure of the most democratic and autocratic governments is communistic in essence. It is always restriction. We are all treated as imbecile children. DORA, the Shops Acts, the motoring laws, Sunday suffocation, the censorship. They won't trust us to cross the roads at will. Fascism is like communism and dishonest into the bargain. The dictators suppress all art, literature, theater, music, news that does not meet their requirements. Yet the world only moves by the light of genius. The herd will be destroyed in mass. The establishment of the law of Thelema is the only way to preserve individual liberty and to assure the future of the race. In the words of the famous paradox of the Comte de Phoenix, the absolute rule of the state shall be a function of the absolute liberty of each individual will. All men and women are invited to cooperate with the Master Therion in this, the great work. O.M. Liber all vel legis, subfigura 220, as delivered by 93 equals 418 to 666. Chapter 1. Hod, the manifestation of Nuit, the unveiling of the company of heaven. Every man and every woman is a star. Every number is infinite. There is no difference. Help me, O warrior lord of Thebes, in my unveiling before the children of men. Be thou Hadit, my secret center, my heart and my tongue. Behold, it is revealed by Iwas, the minister of Hurapar Krat. The cobs is in the coup, not the coup in the cobs.
The Book of Lies by Aleister Crowley, Chapter 0 through 50. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. AA publication in classes C and D. Official for Babes of the Abyss. Imprimatur in Freighter AA. Liber 333. The Book of Lies, which is also falsely called Breaks. The wanderings or falsifications of the one thought of Freighter Perdurabo, which thought is itself untrue. Break, break, break at the foot of thy stones, O sea. I would that I could utter the thoughts that arise in me. Question mark. Exclamation point. Chapter 0. The chapter that is not a chapter. Oh, the anti-primal triad which is not God. Nothing is, nothing becomes, nothing is not.
Rejoice. A lot of men.
Differences that, one was presidential and
Go ahead, back then, Democrats are better. Now, what Governor Walsh just said that they had before, those of you, well, of course, we're going to end up on social media, actually. Well, of
first triad, which is God. I am. I utter the word. I hear the word. The abyss. The word is broken up. There is knowledge. Knowledge is relation. These fragments are creation. The broken manifests light. The second triad, which is God. God the Father and Mother is concealed in generation. God is concealed in the whirling energy of nature. God is manifest in gathering, harmony, consideration, the mirror of the sun and of the heart. The third triad, bearing, preparing, wavering, flowing, flashing, stability, begetting. The 10th emanation, the world. Chapter 1, the Sabbath of the Goat. O, the heart of Nox, the night of Pan. Pan, duality, energy, death. Death, begetting, the supporters of O. To beget is to die. To die is to beget. Cast the seed into the field of night. Life and death are two names of A. Kill thyself. Neither of these alone is enough. Chapter 2, the cry of the hawk. Poor hath a secret fourfold name. It is, do what thou wilt. 4 words, not one, many, all. Thou child, thy name is holy, thy kingdom is come, thy will is done. Here is the bread, here is the blood. Bring us through temptation, deliver us from good and evil. That mine as thine be the crown of the kingdom, even now. Abrahadabra. These 10 words are for the name of the one. Chapter 3, the oyster. The brothers of AA are one with the mother of the child. The many is as adorable to the one as the one is to the many. This is the love of these. Creation, parturition, is the bliss of the one. Coition, dissolution, is the bliss of the many. The all, thus interwoven of these, is bliss. Naught is beyond bliss. The man delights in uniting with the woman. The woman in parting from the child. The brothers of AA are women. The aspirants to AA are men. Chapter 4, Peaches. Soft and hollow, how thou dost overcome the hard and full. It dies, it gives itself. To thee is the fruit. Be thou the bride, thou shalt be the mother hereafter. To all impressions thus, let them not overcome thee, yet let them breed within thee. The least of the impressions, come to its perfection, is Pan. Receive 1,000 lovers, thou shalt bear but one child. This child shall be the heir of Fate the Father. Chapter 5, the battle of the ants. That is not which is. The only word is silence. The only meaning of that word is not. Thoughts are false. Fatherhood is unity disguised as duality. Peace implies war. Power implies war. Harmony implies war. Victory implies war. Glory implies war. kingdom wherein all these are at war. Chapter 6. Caviar. The word was uttered. The one exploded into 1,000 million worlds. Each world contained 1,000 million spheres. Each sphere contained 1,000 million planets. Each planet contained 1,000 million stars. Each star contained many thousand million things. Of these the reasoner took 6, and, preening, said, "This is the one and the all." These 6 the adept harmonized, and said, "This is the heart of the one and the all." These 6 were destroyed by the master of the temple, and he spake not. The ash thereof was burnt up by the magus into the word. Of all this did the Ipsissimus know nothing. Chapter 7. The Dinosaurs. None are they whose number is 6, else were they 6 indeed. 7 are these 6 that live not in the city of the pyramids, under the night of Pan. There was Lao Tzu, there was Siddhartha, there was Krishna, there was Tahuti, there was Moshe, there was Dionysus, there was Mahmud. But the 7th men called Perdurabo, for enduring unto the end, at the end, was not to endure. Amen. Chapter 8. Steeped horsehair. Mind is a disease of semen. All that a man is or may be is hidden therein. Bodily functions are parts of the machine, silent unless in disease. But mind, never at ease, creaketh I. This I persisteth not, posteth not through generations, changeth momently, finally is dead. Therefore is man only himself, when lost to himself in the charioting. Chapter 9. The Branks. Being is the noun, form is the adjective.
Oh, it's going and flowing. Hit the gym, got a lot done.
Matter is the noun, motion is the verb. Wherefore hath being clothed itself with form? Wherefore hath matter manifested itself in motion? Answer not, O silent one, for there is no wherefore, no because. The name of that is not known. The pronoun interprets, that is, misinterprets it. Time and space are adverbs. Duality begat the conjunction. The conditioned is father of the preposition. The article also marketh division, but the interjection is the sound that endeth in silence. Destroy thereof the 8 parts of speech. The 9th is nigh unto truth. This also must be destroyed before thou enterest into the silence. Chapter 10. Whittlestraws. The abyss of hallucination has law and reason, But in truth there is no bond between the toys of the gods. This reason and law is the bond of the great lie. Truth, 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 crieth the Lord of the abyss of hallucinations. There is no silence in that abyss, for all that men call silence is its speech. The abyss is also called hell, and the many. Its name is consciousness, and the universe among men. But that which neither is silent nor speaks, rejoices therein. Chapter 11. The Glowworm. Concerning the holy three and naught, Nuit, Hadit, Ra-Hur Kuit, are only to be understood by the master of the temple. They are above the abyss, and contain all contradiction in themselves. Below them,
glad to see you again, and it's a pleasure. We will reconnect. I'm not sure if you're still doing services, but we scaled up. I cannot support the whole world. You know what I'm saying? The money is there. You guys are talking about these grants. The money is there. We just have to do the work, and you just have to be hungry, and you have to do it with intent and have fun in the process. So I love your smile.
That's not the only thing I do, but like, what do you consider intelligence? What do you mean by like truck drivers not being intelligent? Are you talking about in terms of an IQ, or are you talking about in terms of education?
IQ, and I'm talking about myself.
No. What about in terms of education? Maybe that's why you're saying truck drivers.
Yeah,
Or you say they're not
a lawyer or a doctor or a psychology.
Kevin, how does it feel that ashes to ashes, dust to dust hits the heart to you?
What does that mean?
Wait, I got a joke for you, Brian.
No, we can stop doing this.
Industry? Is this people in the industry talking?
What?
Are y'all in the industry to say that they don't?
Are you in the industry?
Yes, I am.
Honey, I wouldn't qualify, but I wouldn't qualify as gay porn.
So why are you?
I'm gonna say they have it for sale.
All over the
Yeah,
place.
there's a big problem with the jail.
talk and nobody's trying to understand.
There's a big problem with the jail analogy, though. I mean, that's
Yeah,
gotta be
because
obvious,
it's not
right?
the same power dynamics at all.
I guess it is.
No, there's very different. One is in a state where essentially it's, I don't say lawlessness, but like those they are not signing contracts, right? Two prisoners do not. Yeah, but the code is enforced through not contracts, right? No, sure, but you don't know when you're signing them. Yeah, I'm sorry.
In my opinion, you was telling him, I'm taking my depression out on him and just wanting to spend on him and come at him due to the fact that I'm depressed in my life ultimately, which I am, but it's diagnosed, so it's excused. Basically, I told you, how are you gonna tell me that I'm shit? First of all, point is, I have a specific.
Like, we are anti-Semitic people. We don't like them. We don't want anything to do with them. They killed our people.
Yeah.
So you being like an apologist for Jews, like, you can't really say you're an Armenian.
Honestly, you can't.
I've never not once heard anybody on this app say,
Acknowledging me. Did you not, Empress?
Yes, I did. But
Thank you.
contradiction in themselves. The Book of Lies by Alice. Others next laughed, next others wept. Next others wept. Next others laughed. Last came those that wept because they could not see the joke, and those that laughed lest they should be thought not to see the joke, and thought it safe to act like Frater Perdurabo. But though Frater Perdurabo laughed openly, he also at the same time wept secretly, and in himself he neither laughed nor wept, nor did he mean what he said. Chapter 15. The Gun Barrel. Mighty and erect is this will of mine, this pyramid of fire whose summit is lost in heaven. Upon it have I burned the corpse of my desire. Mighty and erect is this phallus of my will. The seed thereof is that which I have borne within me from eternity, and it is lost within the body of Our Lady of the Stars. I am not I am but a hollow tube to bring down fire from heaven. Mighty and marvelous is this weakness, this heaven which draweth me into her womb, this dome which hideth, which absorbeth me. This is the night wherein I am lost, the love through which I am no longer I. Chapter 16. The Stag Beetle. Death implies change and individuality. If thou be that which hath no person, which is beyond the changing, even beyond changelessness, what hast thou to do with death? The bird of individuality is ecstasy, so also is its death. In love the individuality is slain. Who loves not love? Love death, therefore, and long eagerly for it. Die daily. Chapter 17. The Swan. There is a swan whose name is Ecstasy. It wingeth from the deserts of the north. It wingeth through the blue. It wingeth over the fields of rice. At its coming they push forth the green. In all the universe this swan alone is motionless. It seems to move, as the sun seems to move. Such is the weakness of our sight. O fool, criest thou. Amen. Motion is relative. There is nothing that is still. Against this swan I shot an arrow. The white breast poured forth blood. Men smote me. Then, perceiving that I was but a pure fool, they let me pass. Thus, and not otherwise, I came to the temple of the Grail. Chapter 18. Dewdrops. Verily, love is death, and death is life to come. Man returneth not again, the stream floweth not uphill. The old life is no more. There is a new life that is not his. Yet that life is of its very essence. It is more he than all that he calls he. In the silence of a dewdrop is every tendency of his soul and of his mind and of his body. It is the quintessence and the elixir of his being. Therein are the forces that made him, and his father and his father's father before him. This is the dew of immortality. Let this go free, even as it will. Thou art not its master, but the vehicle of it. Chapter 19. The Leopard and the Deer. The spots of the leopard are the sunlight in the glade. Pursue thou the deer stealthily at thy pleasure. The dappling of the deer is the sunlight in the glade. Concealed from the leopard, do thou feed at thy pleasure. Resemble all that surroundeth thee, yet be thyself, and take thy pleasure among the living. This is that which is written, lurk, in the book of the law. Chapter 20. Samson. The universe is in equilibrium. Therefore he that is without it, though his force be but a feather, can overturn the universe. Be not caught within that web, O child of freedom. Be not entangled in the universal lie, O child of truth. Chapter 21. The Blind Webster. It is not necessary to understand. It is enough to adore. The God may be of clay. Adore him. He becomes God. We ignore what created us. We adore what we create. Let us create nothing but God. That which causes us to create is our true father and mother. We create in our own image, which is theirs. Let us create, therefore, without fear. For we can create nothing that is not God. Chapter 22. The Despot. The waiters of the best eating houses mock the whole world. They estimate every client at his proper value. This I know certainly, because they always treat me with profound respect. Thus they have flattered me into praising them thus publicly. Yet it is true, and they have this insight because they serve, and because they can have no personal interest in the affairs of those whom they serve. An absolute monarch would be absolutely wise and good. But no man is strong enough to have no interest. Therefore, the best king would be pure chance. It is pure chance that rules the universe. Therefore, and only therefore, life is good. Chapter 23. Skidoo. What man is at ease in his inn? Get out. Wide is the world and cold. Get out. Thou hast become an initiate. Get out. But thou canst not get out by the way thou camest in. The way out is the way. Get out. For out is love and wisdom and power. Get out. If thou hast tea already, first get UT, then get O, and so at last, get out. Chapter 24. The Hawk and the Blind Worm. This book would translate beyond reason into the words of reason. Explain thou snow to them of Andaman. The slaves of reason call this book abuse of language. They are right. Language was made for men to eat and drink, make love, do barter, die. The wealth of a language consists in its abstracts. The poorest tongues have wealth of concretes. Therefore have adepts praised silence. At least it does not mislead as speech does. Also, speech is a symptom of thought. Yet silence is for the negative side of truth. The positive side is beyond even silence. Nevertheless, one true God crieth Hriliu, and the laughter of the death rattle is akin. Chapter 25, The Star Ruby. Facing east, in the center, draw deep, deep, deep thy breath, closing thy mouth with thy right forefinger pressed against thy lower lip. Then, dashing down the hand with a great sweep back and out, expelling forcefully thy breath, cry, Apo Pantos Kakodemonos. With the same forefinger touch thy forehead, and say, Soy, thy member, and say, O Phale, thy right shoulder, and say, Iskoros, thy left shoulder, and say, Eucharistos. Then clasp thine hands, locking the fingers, and cry, I-A-O. Advance to the east. Imagine strongly a pentagram, a right in thy forehead. Drawing the hands to the eyes, fling it forth, making the sign of Horus, and roar, Chaos! Retire thine hand in the sign of Hor-Pa-Krat. Go round to the north and repeat, but scream, Babylon! Go round to the west and repeat, but say, Eros. Go round to the south and repeat, but bellow, Psyche. Completing the circle widdershins, retire to the center, and raise thy voice in the pipe. And with these words, Iopan, with the sign of NOX. Extend the arms in the form of a tau, and say, low but clear, Promo Iungus, Opisomo Teletarchi, Epidexia Sinoches, Eparistera Demones, Flagei, Gar Perimo Ho Aster Tompinte, Kai in the still Ho Aster Ton Hex, Estki. Repeat the cross Kabbalistic as above, and end as thou didst begin. Chapter 26, The Elephant and the Tortoise. The absolute and the condition together make the one absolute. The second, who is the fourth, the demiurge, whom all nations of men call the first, is a lie grafted upon a lie multiplied by a lie. Fourfold is he, the elephant upon whom the universe is poised, but the carapace of the tortoise supports and covers all. This tortoise is sixfold, the holy hexagram. These 6 and 4 are 10. 10, the one manifested, that returns to the not unmanifest. The Almighty, the All-Ruler, the All-Knower, the All-Father, adored by all men, and by me abhorred. Be thou accursed, be thou abolished, be thou annihilated. Amen. Chapter 27, The Sorcerer. A sorcerer, by the power of his magic, had subdued all things to himself. Would he travel? He could fly through space more swiftly than the stars. Would he eat, drink, and take his pleasure? There was none that did not instantly obey his bidding. In the whole system of 10 million times 10 million spheres, upon the 22 million planes, he had his desire. And with all this, He was but himself, alas. Chapter 28. The Pole Star. Love is all virtue, since the pleasure of love is but love, and the pain of love is but love. Love taketh no heed of that which is not, and of that which is. Absence exalteth love, and presence exalteth love. Love moveth from height to height of ecstasy, and faileth never. The wings of love droop not with time, nor slacken life or for death. Love destroyeth self, uniting self with that which is not self, so that love breedeth all and none in one. Is it not so? No? Then thou art not lost in love. Speak not of love. Love always yieldeth. Love always hardeneth. Maybe I write it, but to write her name. Chapter 29. The Southern Cross. Love, I love you. Night, night, cover us. Thou art night, O my love, and there are no stars but thine eyes. Dark night, sweet night, so warm and yet so fresh, so scented, yet so holy. Cover me, cover me. Let me be no more. Let me be thine. Let me be thou. Let me be neither thou nor I. Let there be love in night and night in love. N-O-X, the night of Pan, and Layla, the night before his threshold. Chapter 30. Jhana Dreams. Dreams are imperfections of sleep. Even so is consciousness the imperfection of waking. Dreams are impurities in the circulation of the blood. Even so is consciousness a disorder of life. Dreams are without proportion, without good sense, without truth. So also is consciousness. Awake from dream, the truth is known. Awake from waking, the truth is the unknown. Chapter 31. The Garret. It moves from motion into rest, and rest from rest into motion. These it does alway, for time is not. So that it does neither of these things. It does that one thing which we must express by two things, neither of which possesses any rational meaning. Yet its doing, which is no doing, is simple and yet complex, is neither free nor necessary, for all these ideas express relation, and it, comprehending all relation in its simplicity, is out of all relation, even with itself. All this is true and false, and it is true and false to say that it is true and false. Strain forth thy intelligence, O man, O worthy one, O chosen of it, to apprehend the discourse of the Master. For thus thy reason shall at last break down, as the fetter is struck from the slave's throat. Chapter 32. The Mountaineer. Consciousness is a symptom of disease. All that moves well moves without will. All skillfulness, all strain, all intention is contrary to ease. Practice 1,000 times and it becomes difficult. 1,000 and it becomes easy. 1,000 times 1,000, and it is no longer thou that doeth it, but it that doeth itself through thee. Nor until then is that which is done well done. Thus spoke Frater Pere Durabo, as he leapt from rock to rock of the moraine, without ever casting his eyes upon the ground. Chapter 33. Baphomet. two-headed eagle is God. Even a black triangle is he. In his claw he beareth a sword. Yea, a sharp sword is held therein. This eagle was burnt up in the great fire, yet not a feather is scorched. This eagle is swallowed up in the great sea, yet not a feather is wetted. So flieth he in the air, and lighteth upon the earth at his pleasure. So spake Iacobus Burgundus Molensis, the grand master of the temple, and of the god that is ass-headed did he dare not speak. Chapter 34. The Smoking Dog. Each act of man is the twist and double of an hare. Love and death are the greyhounds that course him. God bred the hounds and taketh his pleasure in the sport. This is the comedy of Pan, that man should think he hunteth, while those hounds hunt him. This is the tragedy of man, when facing love and death he turns to bay. He is no more hare, but boar. There are no other comedies or tragedies. Cease then to be the mockery of God. In savagery of love and death, live thou and die. Thus shall his laughter be thrilled through with ecstasy. Chapter 35. Venus of Milo. Life is as ugly and necessary as the female body. Death is as beautiful and necessary as the male body. The soul is beyond male and female, as it is beyond life and death. Even as the lingam and the yoni are but diverse developments of one organ, so also are life and death but two phases of one state. So also the absolute and the conditioned are but forms of that. What do I love? There is no form, no being, to which I do not give myself wholly up. Take me who will. Chapter 36. The Star Sapphire. Let the adept be armed with his magic rood, and provide him with his mystic rose. In the center, let him give the LVX signs, or if he know them, if he will and dare do them, and can keep silent about them, the signs of NOX, being the signs of puer, vir, puella, mulier. Omit the sign IR. Then let him advance to the east, and make the holy hexagram, saying, Pater et Mater, unus Deus aurita. Let him go round to the south, make the holy hexagram, and say, Mater et Filius, unus Deus aurita. Let him go round to the west, make the holy hexagram, and say, Filius et Filia, unus Deus aurita. Let him go round to the north, make the holy hexagram, and then say, Filia et Pater unus Deus aurita. Let him then return to the center, and so to the center of all, making the rosy cross as he may know how, saying, Aurita, Aurita, Aurita. In this the sign shall be those of Set triumphant and of Baphomet. Also shall Set appear in the circle. Let him drink of the sacrament, and let him communicate the same. Then let him say, Omnia in duos, duo in unum, unus in nihil. Haec nec quator, nec omnia, nec duo, nec unus, nec nihil sunt. Gloria Patri et Matri et Filio et Filiae et Spiritui Sancto. Externo et Spiritui Sancto. Interno erat in saecula, saeculorum sex in uno per nomen septum, in uno erita. Let him then repeat the signs of LVX, but not the signs of NOX. For it is not he that shall arise in the sign of Isis rejoicing. Chapter 37. Dragons. Thought is the shadow of the eclipse of Luna. Samadhi is the shadow of the eclipse of Soul. The moon and the earth are the non-ego and the ego. The sun is that. Both eclipses are darkness. Both are exceedingly rare. The universe itself is light. Chapter 38. Lambskin. Cowan Skidoo, Tile, swear to Hile all. This is the mystery. Life, mind is the traitor. Slay mind. Let the corpse of mind lie unburied on the edge of the great sea. Death, this is the mystery. Tile, Cowan Skidoo. Chapter 39. The Luby. Only Lubies find excellence in these words. It is unthinkable that A is not A. To reverse this is but to revert to the normal. Yet by forcing the brain to accept propositions, of which one set is absurdity, the other truism, a new function of brain is established. Vague and mysterious and all indefinite are the contents of this new consciousness. Yet they are somehow vital. By use, they become luminous. Unreason becomes experience. This lifts the leaden-footed soul of the experience of that, of which reason is the blasphemy. But without the experience, these words are the lies of a Luby. Yet a Luby to thee, and a booby to me, a Balacius Ruby to God may be. Chapter 40. The Hymog. A red rose absorbs all colors but red. Red is therefore the one color that is not. This law, reason, time, space, all limitation blinds us to the truth. All that we know of man, nature, God, is just that which they are not. It is that which they throw off as repugnant. The Hymog is only visible insofar as he is imperfect. Then are they all glorious who seem not to be glorious, as the Hymog is all glorious within? It may be so. How then distinguish the inglorious and perfect Hymog from the inglorious man of earth? Distinguish not, but thyself extinguish. Hymog thou art, and Hymog shall thou be. Chapter 41. Corned beef hash. In VVVVV is the great work perfect. Therefore, none is that pertaineth not to VVVVV. In any may he manifest, yet in one hath he chosen to manifest, and this one hath given his ring as a seal of authority to the work of the AA, through the colleagues of Frater Per Durabo. But this concerns themselves and their administration. It concerneth none below the grade of exempt adept, and such an one only by command. Also, since below the abyss reason is Lord, let men seek by experiment, and not by questionings. Chapter 42. Dust Devils. In the wind of the mind arises the turbulence called I. It breaks. Down shower the barren thoughts. All life is choked. This desert is the abyss, wherein is the universe. The stars are but thistles in that waste. Yet this desert is but one spot accursed in the world of bliss. Now and again travelers cross the desert. They come from the great sea, and to the great sea they go. As they go, they spill water. One day they will irrigate the desert till it flower. See, 5 footprints of a camel. V, 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 V. angel wings above. Black blood of the sweet fruit, the bruised, the violated bloom, that setteth the wheel a-spinning in the spire. Death is the veil of life, and life of death, for both are gods. This is that which is written, a feast for life, and a greater feast for death, in the book of the law. The blood is the life of the individual. Offer then blood. Chapter 44. The Mass of the Phoenix. The magician, his breast bare, stands before an altar, on which are his burin, bell, thurible, and 2 of the cakes of light. In the sign of the Enterer, he reaches west across the altar, and cries, Hail, Ra, that goest in thy bark into the caverns of the dark. He gives the sign of silence, and takes the bell and fire in his hands. East of the altar see me stand, with light and music in mine hand. He strikes 11 times upon the bell. 3, 3, 3, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 3, 3, 3, and places the fire in the thurible. I strike the bell, I light the flame, I utter the mysterious name, Abrahadabra. He strikes 11 times upon the bell. Now I begin to pray, thou child, holy thy name and undefiled. Thy reign is come, thy will is done. Here is the bread, here is the blood. Bring me through midnight to the sun. Save me from evil and from good. Take thy one crown of all the 10. Even now and here be mine. Amen. He puts the first cake in the fire of the thurible. I burn the incense cake, proclaim these adorations of thy name. He makes them as in Liber Legis, and strikes again 11 times upon the bell. With the burin, he then makes upon his breast the proper sign. Behold this bleeding breast of mine, gashed with the sacramental sign. He puts the second cake to the wound. I staunch the blood, the wafer soaks it up in the high priest invokes. He eats the second cake. This bread I eat, this oath I swear, as I inflame myself with prayer. There is no grace, there is no guilt, this is the law, do what thou wilt. He strikes 11 times upon the bell, and cries, Abrahadabra. I entereth in with woe and mirth, and now go forth and with thanksgiving, to do my pleasure on the earth, among the legions of the living. He goeth forth. Chapter 45. Chinese Music. Explain this happening. It must have a natural cause. It must have a supernatural cause. Let these 2 asses be set to grind corn. May, might, must, should, probably, may be, we may safely assume, ought, it is hardly questionable, almost certainly. Poor hacks, and let them be turned out to grass. Proof is only possible in mathematics, and mathematics is only a matter of arbitrary conventions. And yet doubt is a good servant, but a bad master. A perfect mistress, but a nagging wife. White is the lash of the overseer. White is black, is the watchword of the slave. The master takes no heed. The Chinese cannot help thinking that the octave has 5 notes. The more necessary anything appears to my mind, the more certain it is that I only assert a limitation. I slept with faith and found a corpse in my arms on waking. I drank and danced all night with doubt and found her a virgin in the morning. Chapter 46. Buttons and rosettes. The cause of sorrow is the desire of the one to the many, or of the many to the one. This also is the cause of joy. but the desire of one to another is all of sorrow. Its birth is hunger, and its death satiety. The desire of the moth for the star at least saves him satiety. Hunger thou, O man, for the infinite. Be insatiable even for the finite. Thus, at the end, shalt thou devour the finite and become the infinite. Be thou more greedy than the shark, more full of yearning than the wind among the pines. The weary pilgrim struggles on. The satiated pilgrim stops. The road winds uphill. All law, all nature must be overcome. Do this by virtue of that in thyself, before which law and nature are but shadows. Chapter 47. Windmill Words. Asana gets rid of anatomy consciousness. Pranayama gets rid of physiology consciousness. Involuntary breaks. Yama and Niyama get rid of ethical consciousness. Voluntary breaks. Pratyahara gets rid of the objective. Dharana gets rid of the subjective. Dhyana gets rid of the ego. Samadhi gets rid of the soul impersonal. Asana destroys the static body, nama. Pranayama destroys the dynamic body, rupa. Yama destroys the emotions. Niyama destroys the passions, vedana. Dharana destroys the perceptions, sana. Dhyana destroys the tendencies, sankhara. Samadhi destroys the consciousness, vinanam. Omar Thermidor destroys the digestion. The last of these facts is the one of which I am most certain. Chapter 38. Mome Wraths. The early bird catches the worm, and the 12-year-old prostitute attracts the ambassador. Neglect not the dawn meditation. The first plover's eggs fetch the highest prices. The flower of virginity is esteemed by the pandar. Neglect not the dawn meditation. Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. But late to watch and early to pray brings him across the abyss, they say. Neglect not the dawn meditation. Chapter 49. Rata Blossoms. 7 are the veils of the dancing girl in the harem of it. 7 are the names, and 7 are the lamps beside her bed. 7 eunuchs guard her with drawn swords. No man may come nigh unto her. In her wine cup are 7 streams of the blood of the 7 spirits of God. 7 are the heads of the beast, whereupon she rides. The head of an angel, the head of a saint, the head of a poet, the head of an adulterous woman, the head of a man of valor, the head of a satyr, and the head of a lion serpent. 7 letters hath her holiest name, and it is. Narrator's note. Crowley here illustrates a seal of a 7-pointed star. Beginning from the westmost point, each point of the star contains a letter, spelling the name of Babylon. In the center of the star is the Greek symbol for Theta. Crosses extend from its western, northern, and eastern boundaries. To the left of the westmost cross is the number 77. To the left of the northmost cross is the number 7. To the right of the northmost cross is the number 7. To the right of the eastmost cross is the number 77. By itself, at the southernmost boundary of Theta, is the number 7. This is the seal upon the ring that is on the forefinger of it, and it is the seal upon the tombs of them whom she hath slain. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of Our Lady, for it is the number of a woman, and her number is 156. Chapter 50. The Vigil of St. Hubert. In the forest, God met the stag beetle. Hold, worship me, quoth God, for I am all great, all good, all wise. The stars are but sparks from the forges of my smiths. Yea, verily, and amen, said the stag beetle. All this do I believe, and that devoutly. Then why do you not worship me? Because I am real, and you are only imaginary. But the leaves of the forest rustled with the laughter of the wind. Said wind and wood, they neither of them know anything. End of chapters 0 through 50. The Book of Lies by Aleister Crowley, chapters 51 through 91. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Chapter 51, Terrier Work. Doubt. Doubt thyself. Doubt even if thou doubtest thyself. Doubt all. Doubt even if thou doubtest all. It seems sometimes as if beneath all conscious doubt there lay some deepest certainty. Oh, let slay the snake, the horn of the doubt goat be exalted. Dive deeper, ever deeper, into the abyss of mind, until thou unearth the fox that. On, hounds, yoinks, tally-ho, bring that to bay, then wind the mort. Chapter 52, The Bull Baiting. 411 books wrote I. In each did I expound the great work fully, from the beginning even unto the end thereof. Then at last came certain men unto me, saying, O Master, expound thou the great work unto us, O Master. And I held my peace. O generation of gossipers, who shall deliver you from the wrath that is fallen upon you? O babblers, prattlers, talkers, loquacious ones, tattlers, chewers of the red rag that inflameth apiece the Redeemer to fury. Learn first what is work, and the great work is not so far beyond. Chapter 53, The Dowser. Once round the meadow, brother does the hazel twig dip. Twice round the meadow, brother does the hazel twig dip. Thrice round the paddock, highly, lowly, wily, holy, dip, dip, dip. Then neighed the horse in the paddock, and lo, its wings. For whoso findeth the spring beneath the earth, maketh the treaders of earth to course the heavens. This spring is threefold, of water, but also of steel, and of seasons. Also this paddock is the toad that hath the jewel between his eyes. Aum mani padmen hum. Keep us from evil. Chapter 54, Eavesdroppings. 5 and 3 apprentice masons out of work. 15 fellow craftsmen out of work. 3 master masons out of work. All these sat on their haunches, waiting the report of the sojourner, for the word was lost. This is the report of the sojourners. The word was love, and its number is 111. Then said each Amo, for its number is 111. Each took the trowel from his lap, whose number is 111. Each called moreover on the goddess Nina, for her number is 111. Yet withal went the work awry, for the word of the law is Thelema. Chapter 55, The Drooping Sunflower. The one thought vanished. All my mind was torn to rags. Nay, my head was mashed into wood pulp, and thereon the daily newspaper was printed. Thus wrote I, since my one love was torn from me. I cannot work, I cannot think. I seek distraction here. I seek distraction there. But this is all my truth, that I who love have lost, and how may I regain? I must have money to get to America. O mage, sage, gauge thy wage, or in the page of thine age is written rage. Oh, my darling, we should not have spent 90 pounds in that 3 weeks in Paris. Slash the brakes on thine arms with a poleaxe. Chapter 56. Trouble with Twins. Holy, holy, holy. Unto 555 times holy be Our Lady of the Stars. Holy, holy, holy. Unto 156 times holy be Our Lady that rideth upon the beast. Holy, holy, holy. Unto the number of times necessary and appropriate be Our Lady Isis in her millions of names, all Mother, Genetrix, Meretrix. Yet holier than all these to me is Layla, night and death. For her do I blaspheme alike the finite and the infinite. So wrote not Frater Perdurabo, but the imp Crowley in his name. For forgery, let him suffer penal servitude for 7 years, or at least let him do pranayama all the way home. Home? Nay, but to the house of the harlot whom he loveth not. For it is Layla that he loveth, and yet who knoweth which is Crowley, and which is Frater Perdurabo? Chapter 57. The Duck-billed Platypus. Dirt is matter in the wrong place. Thought is mind in the wrong place. Matter is mind, so thought is dirt. Thus argued he, the wise one, not mindful that all place is wrong. For not until the place is perfected by a T, saith he, placet. The rose uncrucified droppeth its petals. Without the rose, the cross is a dry stick. Worship then the rosy cross, and the mystery of 2 in 1. And worship him that swore by his holy T, that one should not be one, except in so far as it is 2. I am glad that Layla is afar. No doubt clouds love. Chapter 58. A Guy Howlings. Haggard am I, an hyena. I hunger and howl. Men think it laughter. Ha, ha, ha. There is nothing movable or immovable under the firmament of heaven, on which I may write the symbols of the secret of my soul. Yea, though I were lowered by ropes into the utmost caverns and vaults of eternity, there is no word to express even the first whisper of the initiator in mine ear. Yea, I abhor birth, ululating lamentations of night. Agony, agony, the light within me breathes veils, the song within be dumbness. God, in what prism may any man analyze my light? Immortal are the adepts, and yet they die. They die of shame unspeakable. They die as the gods die, for sorrow. Wilt thou endure unto the end, O Frater Perdurabo, O lamp in the abyss? Thou hast the keystone of the royal arch, yet the apprentices, instead of making bricks, put the straws in their hair, and think they are Jesus Christ. O sublime tragedy and comedy of the great work. Chapter 59. The Tailless Monkey. There is no help but hodgepodge in the skies, when Asticus sees crabs and lobsters rise. Man that has spine and hopes of heaven to be, lacks the amoeba's immortality. What protoplasm gains in mobile mirth is loss of the stability of earth. Matter and sense and mind have had their day. Nature presents the bill, and all must pay. If, as I am not, I were free to choose, how Buddhahood would battle with the booze. My certainty that destiny is good rests on its picking me for Buddhahood. Were I a drunkard, I should think I had good evidence that fate was bloody bad. Chapter 60. The Wound of Amfortas. The self-mastery of Percival became the self-masturbatory of the bourgeois. Virtus has become virtue. The qualities which have made a man, a race, a city, a caste, must be thrown off. Death is the penalty of failure. As it is written, in the hour of success sacrifice that which is dearest to thee unto the infernal gods. The Englishman lives upon the excrement of his forefathers. All moral codes are worthless in themselves. Yet in every new code there is hope, provided always that the code is not changed because it is too hard, but because it is fulfilled. The dead dog floats with the stream. In Puritan France, the best women are harlots. In vicious England, the best women are virgins. If only the Archbishop of Canterbury were to go naked in the streets and beg his bread. The new Christ, like the old, is the friend of publicans and sinners, because his nature is ascetic. Oh, if every man did no matter what, provided that it is the one thing that he will not and cannot do. Chapter 61. The Fool's Knot. O fool, begetter of both I and not, resolve this knotty knot. O, I, this I and O, I-ao, for I owe, I, to Nibbana Zo. I pay, the dissolution of the house of God, for pay comes after O, after Ayin that triumphs over Aleph in Ein, that is O. Opus, the work, the opening of the eye, thou naughty boy, thou openest the eye of Horus, to the blind eye that weeps. The upright one in thine uprightness rejoiceth. Death to all fishes. Chapter 62. Twig? The phoenix hath a bell for sound, fire for sight, a knife for touch, 2 cakes, one for taste, the other for smell. He standeth before the altar of the universe at sunset, when earth life fades. He summons the universe, and crowns it with magic light to replace the sun of natural light. He prays unto, and give homage to, Ra-Hor Khuit. To him he then sacrifices. The first cake burnt illustrates the prophet drawn from the scheme of incarnation. The second, mixed with his life's blood and eaten, illustrates the use of the lower life to feed the higher life. He then takes the oath and becomes free, unconditioned, the absolute, burning up in the flame of his prayer, and born again, the phoenix. Chapter 63. Marjorie Daw. I love Layla, I lack Layla. Where is the mystic grace, sayest thou? Who told thee, man, that Layla is not knew it, and I had it? I destroyed all things, they are reborn in other shapes. I gave up all for one. This one hath given up its unity for all. I wrenched dog backwards to find God. Now God barks. Think me not fallen because I love Layla and lack Layla. I am the master of the universe. Then give me a heap of straw in a hut and Layla naked. Amen. Chapter 64. Constancy. I was discussing oysters with a crony. God sent me the angels, Den and Doni. And man of spunk they urged would hardly choose to breakfast every day chez Laperouse. No, I replied, he would not do so, but think of this woe if Laperouse were shut. I eat these oysters and I drink this wine solely to drown this misery of mine. Yet the last height of consolation's cold, its pinnacle, is not to be consoled. And though I sleep with Jane and Eleanor, I feel no better than I did before. And Julian only fixes in my mind, even before feels better than behind. Your mercurial spirits be so kind as to enable me to raise the wine. Put me in Layla's arms again, the accursed, leaving me that, else how may do his worst. Doni and Den, perceiving me inspired, conceived their task was finished, they retired. I turned upon my friend and breaking bounds, borrowed a trifle of 200 pounds. Chapter 65. Sic Transiat. At last I lifted up mine eyes and beheld, and lo, the flames of violet were become as tendrils of smoke, as mist at sunset upon the marshlands. And in the midst of the moon pool of silver was the lily of white and gold. In this lily is all honey. In this lily that flowereth at the midnight. In this lily is all perfume. In this lily is all music. And it enfolded me. Thus the disciples that watched found a dead body kneeling at the altar. Amen. Chapter 66. The Praying Mantis. Say, God is one. This I obeyed. For 1,001 times a night, for 1,000 nights and one, did I affirm the unity. But night only means Layla, and unity and God are not worth even her blemishes. Allah is only 66, but Layla counteth up to 77. Yea, the night shall cover all. The night shall cover all. Chapter 67. Sodom Apples. I have brought pleasant trifles and thus soothed my lack of Layla. Light is my wallet, and my heart is also light. And yet I know that the clouds will gather closer for the false clearing. The mirage will fade. Then will the desert be thirstier than before. O ye who dwell in the dark night of the soul, beware most of all of every herald of the dawn. O ye who dwell in the city of the pyramids, beneath the night of Pan, remember that ye shall see no more light, but that of the great fire that shall consume your dust to ashes. Chapter 68. Manna. At 4 o'clock there is hardly anybody in Rumpelmeyer's. I have my choice of place and service. The babble of the apes will begin soon enough. Pioneers, O pioneers! Sat not Elijah under the juniper tree and wept? Was not Mohammed forsaken in Mecca, and Jesus in Gethsemane? These prophets were sad at heart, but the chocolate at Rumpelmeyer's is great, and the mousse noir is like Nephthys for perfection. Also, there are little meringues with cream and chestnut pulp, very velvety seductions. Sail I not towards Layla within 7 days? Be not sad at heart, O prophet, the babble of the apes will presently begin. Nay, rejoice exceedingly, for after all the babble of the apes, the silence of the night. Chapter 69. The way to succeed, and the way to suck eggs. This is the holy hexagram. Plunge from the height, O God, and interlock with man. Plunge from the height, O man, and interlock with beast. The red triangle is the descending tongue of grace. The blue triangle is the ascending tongue of prayer. This interchange, the double gift of tongues, the word of double power, abrahadabra, is the sign of the great work. For the great work is accomplished in silence. And behold, is not that word equal to Cheth, that is Cancer, whose sigil is 69. This work also eats up itself, accomplishes its own end, nourishes the worker, leaves no seed, is perfect in itself. Little children, love one another. Chapter 70. Broomstick Babblings. Frater Perdurabo is of the Sanhedrim of the Sabbath, say men. He is the old goat himself, say women. Therefore do all adore him. The more they detest him, the more do they adore him. Aye, let us offer the obscene kiss. Let us seek the mystery of the gnarled oak and of the glacier torrent. To him let us offer up our babes. Around him let us dance in the mad moonlight. But Frater Perdurabo is nothing but an eye none knoweth. Skip witches, hop toads, take your pleasure, for the play of the universe is the pleasure of Frater Perdurabo. Chapter 71. King's College Chapel. For mind and body alike there is no purgative like pranayama, no purgative like pranayama. For mind, for mind and body alike, there is no purgative like pranayama. Yea, for mind and body alike, there is no purgative. For mind and body alike, no purgative, like pranayama. No purgative for mind and body alike, like pranayama, like pranayama. Amen. Chapter 72. Hashed Pheasant. Shemhamphorash, all hail divided name, utter it once, O mortal of Arash. The universe were swallowed up in flame, Shemhamphorash. Nor deem that thou amid the cosmic crash may find one thing of all, those things the same. The world has gone to everlasting smash. No, if creation did possess an aim, it does not, it were only to make hash of that most high and that most holy game, Shemhamphorash. Chapter 73. The Devil, the Ostrich, and the Orphan Child. Death rides the camel of initiation. Thou humped and stiff-necked one that groanest in thine asana, death will relieve thee. Bite not, Zelator dear, but bide. 10 days didst thou go with water in thy belly? Thou shalt go 20 more, with a firebrand at thy rump. Aye, all thine aspiration is to death. Death is the crown of all thine aspiration. Triple is the cord of silver moonlight. It shall hang thee, O Holy One, O hanged man, O camel termination of the third person plural, for thy multiplicity, thou ghost of a non-ego. Could but thy mother behold thee, O thou Unt, the infinite snake Ananta that surroundeth the universe, is but the coffin worm. Chapter 74. Carey Street. When nothing became conscious, it made a bad bargain. This consciousness acquired individuality, a worse bargain. The hermit asked for love, worst bargain of all. And now he has let his girl go to America to have success in life. Blank loss. Is there no end to this immortal ache that haunts me, sleeping or awake? If I had Layla, how could I forget? Time, age, and death, insufferable fret. Were I an hermit, how could I support the pain of consciousness, the curse of thought? Even were I that, there still were one sore spot, the abyss that stretches between that and not. Still, the first step is not so far away. The Mauretania sails on Saturday. Chapter 75. Plover's Eggs. Spring beans and strawberries are in. Goodbye to the oyster. If I really knew what I wanted, I could give up Layla, or give up everything for Layla. But what I want varies from hour to hour. This wavering is the root of all compromise, and so of all good sense. With this gift a man can spend his 70 years in peace. Now is this well or ill? Emphasize gift, then man, then spend, then 70 years, and lastly, peace, and change the intonations. Each time reverse the meaning. I would show you how, but for the moment, I prefer to think of Layla. Chapter 66. Phaeton. No, yes, perhaps. Oh, I. Why? No. Hail, all ye spavine, gelded, hamstrung horses. Ye shall surpass the planets in their courses. How? Not by speed, nor strength, nor power to stay, but by the silence that succeeds the neigh. Chapter 77. The sublime and supreme septenary, in its mature magical manifestation through matter, as it is written, and He-Goat also. Layla. Chapter 78. Wheel and Woe. The great wheel of samsara, the wheel of the law, Dhamma, the wheel of the tarot, the wheel of the heavens, the wheel of life. All these wheels be one, yet of all these the wheel of the tarot alone avails thee consciously. Meditate long and broad and deep, O man, upon this wheel, revolving it in thy mind. Be this thy task, to see how each card springs necessarily from each other card, even in due order, from the Fool to the 10 of coins. Then when thou knowest the wheel of destiny complete, mayest thou perceive that will which moved it first. There is no first or last, and lo, thou art passed through the abyss. Chapter 79. The Bald Bullier. Some men look into their minds, into their memories, and find naught but pain and shame. These then proclaim the good law unto mankind. These preach renunciation, virtue, cowardice in every form. These whine eternally, smug, toothless, hairless coot, debauch emasculated Buddha, come ye to me. I have a trick to make you silent, O ye foamers at the mouth. Nature is wasteful, but how well she can afford it. Nature is false, but I'm a bit of a liar myself. Nature is useless, but then how beautiful she is. Nature is cruel, but I too am a sadist. The game goes on. It may have been too rough for Buddha, but it's, if anything, too dull for me. Viens vous negre, donne-moi tes lèvres uncle. Chapter 80. Blackthorn. The price of existence is eternal warfare. Speaking as an Irishman, I prefer to say, the price of eternal warfare is existence. And melancholy as existence is, the price is well worth paying. Is there a government? Then I'm agin it. To hell with the bloody English. Oh, Frater Perdurabo, How unworthy are these sentiments? Do you want a clip on the jaw? Chapter 81. Louis Ling. I am not an anarchist in your sense of the word. Your brain is too dense for any known explosive to affect it. I am not an anarchist in your sense of the word. Fancy a policeman let loose on society. While there exists the burgess, the hunting man, or any man with ideals less than Shelley's, and self-discipline less than Loyola's. In short, any man who falls far short of myself. I am against anarchy and for feudalism. Every emancipator has enslaved the free. Chapter 81. Borscht. Witch moon that turnest all the streams to blood, I take this hazel rod and stand and swear, an oath beneath this blasted oaken bear, that rears its agony above the flood, whose swollen mask mutters an atheist prayer. What oath may stand the shock of this offense? There is no I, no joy, no permanence. Witch moon of blood, eternal ebb and flow, of baffled birth and death still lurks a change, and all the leopards in thy woods that range, and all the vampires in their bows that glow, brooding on bloodthirst, these are not so strange, and fierce as life's unfailing shower these die, yet time rebears them through eternity. Hear then the oath, witch moon of blood, dread moon, let all thy striges and thy ghouls attend. He that endureth even to the end hath sworn that love's own corpse shall lie at noon, even in the coffin of its hopes, and spend all the force won by its old woe and stress in now annihilating nothingness. This chapter is called Imperial Purple and a Punic War. Chapter 83. The Blind Pig. Many becomes two. 2, 1, 1, naught. What comes to naught? What? Shall the adept give up his hermit life, and go eating and drinking and making merry? Aye, shall he not do so? He knows that the many is naught, and having naught, enjoys that naught even in the enjoyment of the many. For when naught becomes absolute naught, it becomes again the many, and this many and this naught are identical. They are not correlatives or phases of some one deeper absence of idea. They are not aspects of some further light. They are they. Beware, O my brother, lest this chapter deceive thee. Chapter 84. The Avalanche. Only through devotion to Frater Perdurabo may this book be understood. How much more then should he devote himself to Iowas for the understanding of the holy book of Thelema? Yet must he labor underground eternally. The sun is not for him, nor the flowers, nor the voices of the birds, for he is passed beyond all these. Yea, verily, oft times he is weary. It is well that the weight of the karma of the infinite is with him. Therefore is he glad indeed, for he hath finished the work, and the reward concerneth him no whit. Chapter 85. Borborygmi. I distrust any thoughts uttered by any man whose health is not robust. All other thoughts are surely symptoms of disease. Yet these are often beautiful, and may be true within the circle of the conditions of the speaker. And yet again, do we not find that the most robust of men express no thoughts at all? They eat, drink, sleep, and copulate in silence. What better proof of the fact that all thought is dis-ease? We are Strasbourg geese. The tastiness of our talk comes from the disorder of our bodies. We like it. This only proves that our tastes also are depraved and debauched by our disease. Chapter 86. Tat. ex nihilo, N-I-H-I-L, feet. In, the fire that twisteth itself and burneth like a scorpion. I, the unsullied, ever-flowing water. H, the interpenetrating spirit, without and within. Is not its name Abrahadabra? I, the unsullied, ever-flowing air. L, the green, fertile earth. Fierce are the fires of the universe, and on their daggers they hold aloft the bleeding heart of earth. Upon the earth lies water, sensuous and sleepy. Above the water hangs air, and above air, but also below fire, and in all, the fabric of all being woven on its invisible design is Aether. Chapter 87, Mandarin Meals. There is a dish of shark's fin and of sea slug, well set in birds' nests, oh. Also there is a souffle most exquisite of chow chow. These did I devise, but I have never tasted anything to match the narrator's note. Crowley here illustrates a symbol consisting of a vertical Ouroboros superimposed over an inverted cross with two vertical bars, one to the left and one to the right of the central intersection, which she gave me before she went away. March 22nd, 1912, EV. Chapter 88, Gold Bricks. Teach us your secret, master, yap my yahoos. Then for the hardness of their hearts and for the softness of their heads, I taught them magic. But, alas, teach us your real secret, master, how to become invisible, how to acquire love, and oh, beyond all, how to make gold. But how much gold will you give me for the secret of infinite riches? This is the foremost and most foolish. Master, it is nothing, but here is 100,000 pounds. This did I deign to accept, and whispered in his ear this secret. A sucker is born every minute.
You still haven't recovered, bro. You overpulled, man. Conservative drugs. I'm trying. I know it's hard. That's why I stick to that joints, man. Anything else, man, I get too crazy with it.
Well, I don't, dude. I used to do a bunch of dab and shatter and butter and all that crap and like have like, crystal, bangers and all that crap and like pins and all that shit. And then, because I went through the whole phase, I'm like, dude, I couldn't breathe. Like, I still run now, but all I do is smoke flower. I can go running every morning smoking flower. As long as smoking all that, butter and shatter and all that, terpenes and all that crap that they trust. Man, I couldn't even, dude, my fucking...
Did not work for you.
Maybe like it's sometimes, well, usually no, but it'd be like, why would you even, man, you in here, you got a shirt hiked up and your ass is showing, what are you advertising?
I get what you're saying, because if it's giving prostitute, I may cry about the services. I get what you mean.
I mean, like, you playing from the cloud.
But at the same time, those women know what they're doing.
Right. That's why I'm saying.
As long as you ain't.
He's basically not quoting, but relying on the Torah and the Injil to be something, for him to say that he is the final seal.
Yeah,
the seal to this.
It's not there, so why is he saying that?
Like before they kill the Jews, they're like, what's your favorite major prophet? Well, they said they thought he was calling on Elijah.
Yeah, I'm reference to the Roman soldiers.
So you saying you don't think he spoke Hebrew?
He probably knew.
Tao Te Ching can be translated as the Book of the Imminence of the Way, or the Book of the Way and of how it manifests itself in the world, or simply the Book of the Way. Since it is already well known by its Chinese title, I have let that stand. About Lao Tzu, its author, there's practically nothing to be said. He may have been an older contemporary of Confucius, 551 to 479 BCE, and may have held the position of archive keeper in one of the petty kingdoms of the time. But all the information
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Hey Danielle, it's John. Just thought maybe I'd catch you this evening to say hello. It sounds like you're gonna have some fun in Tampa for Christmas. Just having a good night at home. Let me know if you're free tonight, if you want to get a bite to eat or a drink, and look forward to talking with you soon. Bye.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
Damn, I think I'm screwed on that one.
Information that has come down to us is highly suspect. Even the meaning of his name is uncertain. The most likely interpretations, the old master, or more picturesquely, the old boy. Like an Iroquois woodsman, he left no traces. All he left us is his book, the classic manual on the art of living, written in a style of gem-like lucidity, radiant with humor and grace, and large-heartedness and deep wisdom. One of the wonders of the world. People usually think of Lao Tzu as a hermit, a dropout from society, dwelling serenely in some mountain hut, unvisited except perhaps by the occasional traveler arriving from a 60s joke to ask, what is the meaning of life? But it's clear from his teachings that he deeply cared about society, if society means the welfare of one's fellow human beings. His book is, among other things, a treatise on the art of government, whether of a country or of a child. The misperception may arise from his insistence on Wei Wu Wei, literally, doing, not doing, which has been seen as passivity. Nothing could be further from the truth. A good athlete can enter a state of body awareness in which the right stroke or the right movement happens by itself, effortlessly, without any interference of the conscious will. This is a paradigm for non-action, the purest and most effective form of action. The game plays the game. The poem writes the poem. We can't tell the dancer from the dance. Less and less do you need to force things until finally you arrive at non-action. When nothing is done, nothing is left undone. Nothing is done because the doer has wholeheartedly vanished into the deed. The fuel has been completely transformed into flame. This nothing is in fact everything. It happens when we trust the intelligence of the universe in the same way that an athlete or a dancer trusts the superior intelligence of the body. Hence Lao Tzu's emphasis on softness. Softness means the opposite of rigidity and is synonymous with suppleness, adaptability, endurance. Anyone who has seen a Tai Chi or Aikido master doing not doing will know how powerful this softness is. Lao Tzu's central figure is a man or woman whose life is in perfect harmony with the way things are. This is not an idea, it is a reality. I have seen it. The master has mastered nature, not in the sense of conquering it, but of becoming it. In surrendering to the Tao, in giving up all concepts, judgments, and desires, her mind has grown naturally compassionate. She finds, deep in her own experience, the central truths of the art of living, which are paradoxical only on the surface, that the more truly solitary we are, the more compassionate we can be. The more we let go of what we love, the more present our love becomes. The clearer our insight into what is beyond good and evil, the more we can embody the good. Until finally she is able to say, in all humility, I am the Tao, the truth, the life. The teaching of the Tao Te Ching is moral in the deepest sense, unencumbered by any concept of sin. The master doesn't see evil as a force to resist, but simply as an opaqueness, a state of self-absorption, which is in disharmony with the universal process, so that, as with a dirty window, the light can't shine through. This freedom from moral categories allows him his great compassion for the wicked and the selfish. Thus, the master is available to all people and doesn't reject anyone. He is ready to use all situations and doesn't waste anything. This is called embodying the light. What is a good man but a bad man's teacher? What is a bad man but a good man's job? If you don't understand this, you will get lost, however intelligent you are. It is the great secret. The listener will notice that in the many passages where Lao Tzu describes the master, I've used the pronoun she at least as often as he. The Chinese language doesn't make this kind of distinction. In English, we have to choose. But since we are all potentially the master, since the master is, essentially, us, I felt it would be untrue to present a male archetype, as other versions have, ironically, done. Ironically, because of all the great world religions, the teaching of Lao Tzu is by far the most female. Of course, you should feel free throughout the recording to substitute he for she, or vice versa. As to method, I worked from Paul Karas's literal version, which provides English equivalents, often very quaint ones, alongside each of the Chinese ideograms. I also consulted dozens of translations into English, German, and French. But the most essential preparation for my work was a 14 years long course of Zen training, which brought me face to face with Lao Tzu and his with such a subtle poet and stand-up comedian, asked Matsu. Matsu said, then I teach, not mind, not Buddha. The monk said, how about someone who isn't attached to either? Matsu said, I would tell him, not beings. The monk said, and what if you met a man unattached to all things? What would you tell him? Matsu said, I would just let him experience the great Tao. In fact, the truth is right before our eyes.
right under our noses. So simple that every child understands it. And yet, as Bankei said, the farther you enter into it, the deeper it is. Where is the way to the way? What a question. Still, for complicated minds, drastic measures are needed. Lao Tzu's book was written as a response out of grandmotherly kindness. According to the oldest biography, Lao Tzu lived for a long time in the country of Chu, but seeing its decline, he departed. When he reached the frontier, the guard said, "Since you were going away, sir, could you write a book to teach me the art of living?" Thereupon, Lao Tzu wrote his book about the Tao and departed. This is legend, but it is an accurate description of the way in which true teaching happens. He who knows doesn't talk, but words are no hindrance for him. He uses them as he would use gardening tools. When someone asks, he answers. Tao Te Ching. 1. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. The unnameable is the eternally real. Naming is the origin of all particular things. Free from desire, you realize the mystery. Caught in desire, you see only the manifestations. Yet mystery and manifestations arise from the same source. This source is called darkness. Darkness within darkness. The gateway to all understanding.
Breaking news, maybe articles here.
Hockey is tough. Hockey is tough. Hockey is rough. Yeah, it's rough. Like 150. I'm used to it. I just breathe it. I just want to see the locals. I see the concussion.
Except y'all. What they saying? What they saying?
Super happy. Come on up here, Mark. Man, Marcus down below. Steve and Kevin, Kenny, Mr. Vegas, Eric. Hey, Ragu, how you doing, David? How you doing, David? Man, we most definitely got to talk about some domains. I'm gonna open up the news thing here too, see what's going on in the news, domain news.
Because I don't want you to get stuck, because that's what somebody said. And my life is perfect.
What? With more religion. Because you know what? You ever seen the Book of Eli? That's shitty. Just because they gave you the motherfucking blueprint to life.
That is true.
The problem there is not with the audio.
This is why I'm single. Nobody can break my heart.
Exactly.
Let's put some dance music.
Yeah.
This is Trunk.
When you read the original Thomas,
Billy the Pen? That, you know what? Both Billy and I have been to the top of it when we were kids. I used to be able to go up there.
into his hat.
Into his hat, right.
Oh, that's like the Statue of Liberty. You can go into it.
Oh, yeah. You know, up to the top of City Hall and you went into his hat. I couldn't tell you. How many stories would you say? Do you know?
I would say it's
30?
Almost 30, yeah, exactly.
How did the
So
vote
there's two ordinances that changed the city. This is the first one. So this was a big deal, and they realized they weren't getting all the businesses that were going to New York and other cities building skyscrapers. So this was huge because this is a very provincial city. They don't like change at all, and they changed the ordinance. And then buildings. Let me think. Billy went Liberty Place would have been the first one, right?
Tomorrow.
Yeah, so I'm going to say that ordinance changed. It had to be in the 70s or 80s sometime. 70s or 80s.
I was in the 80s because I knew about it in college.
Well, yeah, but like when I was practicing law, I'm just thinking what buildings were up.
Hi Casey, sorry
So
for
anyway,
hi
they
Casey,
changed the
hope
law.
you had a good day.
No, the
Anywhere
anywhere there's the line of the city, had to be the tallest in the city. So, there's a very funny PS to this story. So they changed the law, they built Liberty Place. Was it early 80s, late 70s?
No, see, I remember in college, it was March 1987. I learned that in like 1984, 85.
Okay, so fast forward. These buildings go up. Now, I mean, later, Liberty Place is dwarfed by Comcast Center and all these buildings. And they've attracted the companies they wanted to attract. They kept the companies. They could have skyscrapers, blah, 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 except one minor problem. As a result, so what year did you say? 87?
87, bye.
Okay. So what one minor problem happened as a result of that ordinance changing? It was called the curse. So as a result of the ordinance changing and these buildings becoming taller than Billy Penn, everyone in the city believed that there was a curse on the city, on the sports teams of the city, that they could never win a championship.
Is that what happened? They never won after 87?
They never won a championship after that, any of the sports teams. So now fast forward, because in 1980 they had won the World Series. So now fast forward, the Phillies. It's 2008, and the Phillies are in the World Series. They take a statue of Billy Penn and they put it on top of what is then the tallest building that had been in the city, which is Comcast building. And they put a Billy Penn statue on top of the tallest building to void the curse, I guess you would say.
And did it work? I don't follow sports. So.
And it worked, and they won the World Series, and everyone in the city believes it's because they put that statue that they didn't disrupt Billy Penn anymore. So
it's so cool you call him Billy as opposed to William.
Well, we do. But, I mean, Billy, didn't you always call him Billy Penn? Like, we never called him William Penn. We just, I don't know why.
We Philadelphians have a more intimate relationship.
Yeah, I guess that's it. So that's the first ordinance that changed. I mean, in like, let's say modern ordinance that changed. The second was allowing outdoor seating at restaurants. So what the other thing that you could never have would be cafes like you have in New York, Madison, the outdoor seating. None of the restaurants could have outdoor seating. So when they changed that ordinance, there was a restaurant boom in certain neighborhoods of downtown Philly that did not develop restaurants as readily because they could have patios in front. So,
did you ever go to the Astral Plane?
Oh yeah, for sure. Anyway, so it's crazy, but I saw this picture on someone's Facebook page, and I liked it. Billy Penn.
Oh, the tall building, is that the one on the left or the one on the right? Or not?
One is
the other side.
No, so one is the Comcast building in that, and I mean one is Liberty Place, I guess. No, the one
Liberty Place, it says here, that's one that broke the height.
that was it. But I think the Comcast building now is the tallest.
Dining.
It's interesting. It says before 1987, the Philadelphia Art Commission. Like, what do they have to do with permitting the height of buildings?
Because it's a state full of blue laws and, powers of
I just thought it would be like the building code or the
they have a lot of power.
city council.
That would,
It's just amazing. It's just amazing. The art commission.
Right, but they would, the art commission would have a lot of power.
PCA, the Philadelphia College of Art, is going.
It is gone. So, and I think, I feel like Moore's not there anymore either. Anyway.
My aunt and her daughter went to Moore.
Oh, that's cool.
It's interesting,
Hopefully,
but
Billy
again,
understands.
it's a very provincial city that doesn't like change. So
No, I'm all.
a change like that was really a big deal.
Last minute. Last minute.
So, yeah, I'm reading a story. It's on corporate.comcast.com. It says, breaking the curse of Billy Penn. Not William Penn, but Billy Penn, as you guys have talked about.
You can trust Abby.
Oh, it's not that I didn't trust her. It's just...
I didn't mean that literally, Uncle.
Yeah, that's what I take. I'm sorry.
But, I don't think I ever really call him William Penn. Other than seeing the word in
That's the stupidity. I thought it was Ben Franklin. I didn't know it was William Penn.
Abby needs to show more respect.
Did you know anyone that, we all said Billy Penn. And I think even now, if you see it written in a newspaper article, it would say Billy.
Oh, so there's 1 and 2 Liberty
Play with
plays.
his phone and catch himself out.
Yeah.
How's your day?
So, Billy, it's 6:48 here on the East Coast. You're going at 7:30 East Coast time?
He slumped down.
Oh yeah, how do I listen to his station?
First, you want the phone number? You can dial it. You can stream it if you don't want to call in. So, if you go to KSCO, Keep Senior Citizens Occupied, KSCO.com. Yeah, I'm giving you the directions. You can stream the show, but if you want to call it in, I got the phone number for you.
So I have a question, Billy. Do you think you can still go to the Hat and go up on that?
I have no idea.
Oh, no, I'm not sure.
You know what? You cared about safety back then.
Were there windows?
No, we were in the look at the Hat. We were in the rim of the Hat.
Yeah, no, I get it, but I just what? So what? If you can't look out, why would you want to do that?
I guess people just didn't care about the safety rules were different. Because if you go on the Hat, I'm going. I think I need to do that.
Most people don't know this, but the top of Billy Penn's hat is a hatch drawer allowing you to literally crawl inside his head. What? We're in the chest interior, that's 2017.
I've never been to Philadelphia.
See what you're missing?
Well, what's interesting?
I went to that really cool food market. I don't know if it's good or not, but Terminal Market. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I went there in right after it was developed, 1992, 93 maybe.
Maybe before that. Right in Terminal
Market.
No, I know, but it was a dump. It was, if I remember right, it was a dump, and then someone bought it and turned it into.
Oh, it was a dump. It was like a shitty train station.
Yeah, it was a dump, and someone turned it into a culinary attraction.
So, Billy, did you know where I grew up was named after the physician, Billy Penn's physician, is the name of where I was as a kid.
We're trying not to dox you now?
No, I don't care. I lived there when my mom grew up.
Right near your mom.
Yeah, so Winfield, Winwood, all the Wynn, Thomas Wynn, W-Y-N-N-E, Thomas Wynn was his physician. And the house...
Winfield. I grew up in Winwood, lived in Winfield.
All right, so the house was at 50s, not my house, but the Thomas Wynn estate was, I think, at 52nd or 51st and Winfield Avenue.
Cool.
I'm in front of my mom's from Lower Marion. Lower Marion, that's where I went to school.
That's where
Billy, can we go through this? Isn't she like a couple blocks? She grew up a couple blocks from where.
Yeah, we're neighbors.
Yeah. It was across the street from, or like a block away from some temple.
Universal Occultism Channel. New books.
Wait, your mother grew up a block from Horizon?
Yeah.
What was her maiden name?
Levitt, Levit.
What's your mother's first name?
Joan, Joam. Her sister is Barbara, who became Barbara Gladstone, who owns Gladstone Galleries in New York and around the world.
I know the Gladstone Galleries. It's a big deal. I know that's cool. I grew up, I mean, I knew Levitt's growing up, but it's such a common name. And you want to know what's weird, Jeff? That name in Nevada, there's a lot of Levitts in Nevada. They're all Mormon. It's a big Mormon name.
Do you know what it is?
Come on.
لا لا استنى محور المقاومة defense Palestine if they are against Israel. He was barely even on his baseball at the end of the day, so it was like you're comparing him to Biden, but Biden probably didn't even know he was running because he was gone way before the primaries.
Do you want to receive beautiful crystals every month without breaking the bank? I know what you're thinking. It must be too good.
Hello, this is Georgina Rose, part-time esoteric content creator and part-time Scarlet Woman, and welcome back to the Dr. Ellen YouTube channel. This is a channel where we discuss the occult. So, for some context, a parallel here. Some people argue that from our sponsor. So this video is actually sponsored. It's really exciting for me. This video is sponsored by a ritual supply company. So I know that once people get into Philema, they really start doing rituals. So I partnered with Galactic Impressions, who make Enochian, Left-Hand Path, and Goetic Solomonic ritual supplies, which Philemic rituals incorporate a lot of those things. So the company is great. The first thing is this little pendant. They have alignments for all the Goetic spirits. And this goes all the way down until we get to one thing that is in the center of the pillar, which is the material plane or Malkut, right? Seeing that, we are seeing creation itself. And obviously, on these higher levels of existence, it's not literally having sex as humans do. No. But we are... This is Georgina Rose, part-time esoteric content creator and part-time Scarlet Woman, and welcome back to another Occult 101 video. Occult 101 is my series on this channel where I give brief introductions to esoteric traditions, paradigms, and practices.
Universal Occultism.
I think it's time that I made a proper...
Well, wait a minute. They're on the march in the Pacific. McKinsey advised them on building. In today's Health Watch, California has declared a state of emergency after America's first severe human case of.
This Michael Barker with Paris Ridge Farm and my son.
Welcome to Military College Pod.
There's a way to make it enter.
Morals and Dogma.
What's your name?
Santana. El Santana.
What gang are you in?
From the Anglos, I'm 98.
How long have you been in this game?
Around 3 years.
What do your parents think about you being in this game?
They don't have any idea.
What would you do if somebody from another gang shot or killed somebody you knew or a fellow gang member?
They will die.
How?
That's up to us to know and you to find out.
Roll your ranger!
An early morning walk leads to a death investigation in the western suburb.
Last time on this ridiculous YouTube.
Welcome to Wells on Fit.
You kind of know what to say to agree to that. Yeah. The innocence.
That's what is to be done will be done. You resurrect, you just have to resurrect. No, you're like, how do you think you're still the best out here? Because it's like, my stomach is the world's. Savage shit. Showing paint on my ass. But it is the annihilation of earthly joys and the pleasures of mortal life. Why study it? Ask the lecturer. How do you know? Well, because you're reunited because they want to name. There's also something that says, hey, Krispy Kreme, for example, knows a lot of people across the country. All that we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world. Speak of our acts with our name.
Yeah, well, what if we showed when those little precocious little shits were talking back to their parents? Maybe people go back to saying, yeah.
I feel like we're becoming really numb to it at this point. I mean, I'm not a father. I'm not even afraid to have my kids. It's not how I live. I'm too literal and logical about it. It's one in millions. There's no fucking chance. I'm not worried about it. At the same time, I hear it on the media. I'm like, okay, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think we have. I don't think we care. I think it's ridiculous what you're telling me you care.
Yeah, I don't know. When there's a school shooting, people on my side of the gun argument annoy me, and people on the other side of the gun argument annoy me even more. It's like, oh, hey, there's dead children. Now's the time to try to talk about solutions. I don't think weaponizing and trying to use emotional blackmail to win an argument is a good idea.
Hey, Raj.
Talk to me, Unc.
You better get to practicing, nephew, because I'm going to tear your ass. Boy, listen, man. I done been to the putt-putt range, and dude, if I could putt on a real golf course the way I putt on putt-putt, wouldn't nobody play me. They wouldn't bet me. Oh, and just for the record, I shot 72 yesterday.
Well, congratulations.
I posted a picture of me and the guys.
Congratulations, but let me just tell you this. I don't make bets that I'm not confident that I'm going to win. This is something that my grandfather taught me, that you never play another man's game. I would never
go and agree to bet money on 18 holes of a golf course with someone like yourself. You, my friend, fucked up accepting the challenge on putt-putt greens, because that is my domain.
Well, I got a little secret that I wasn't supposed to tell, but I'm not trying to make you nervous, okay? But I got a little maneuver I'm gonna put on your ass, right? You know I got a caddy. Guess who's gonna be my caddy?
Oh fuck. Smokey Robinson.
Elle gonna be my caddy, and she gonna wear some hot shorts. She gonna wear some hot shorts, and you know what I'm saying, a halter top or some shit. And the whole time you trying to figure out how to line up your putt, she gonna be, you know, looking between her legs backwards, upside down, and saying, "Just hit it between my legs, Rod. You ain't got a chance, bruh. You think I'm fixing to really get out there and just let you win? Are you crazy?"
Well, it's not about let. I mean, look, I'm gonna take this from you. The fact that you were experienced at golf, I don't think it's going to translate as well as you think into putt-putt golf. That's kind of like saying that
He is a survivor.
Hit a ball over a net, and that if you were a great tennis player, that ergo you would beat me at ping pong, right? It's you know, it matters, you know, where you practice, where you spend your time. My muscle memory for putt-putt golf is second to none. And so again, I have no doubt that once you get through the obstacles and you get your ball near the hole, you will do well and you'll catch up a little bit. But my navigation of the hazards themselves is where the magic happens. And I think this $1,000 wager, which by the way, these $1,000 wagers are not going to you or I pocket. We're picking these. You've got your charity, I've got mine. The money's going to charity, and I propose that people, if you want to add people to your team and they want to match that, I'll add people to my team, and we can just sweeten the pot and grow the charity contribution.
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we market it as such, right? I can get all my partners at the golf. Everybody I play golf with will donate to it, because I'm donating mine to the First Tee program, First TEE program. That's the Junior Golf Development Program in the United States, where a child can come and play golf up to the age of 13, and they pay for everything: equipment, tournaments, everything. And the thing I try to hammer into people's heads is that, and as corny as this sounds, your network is your net worth. Okay? The young people that they're going to be meeting have parents. The one thing you can't do is play golf broke. So they might not be rich, but they got some dollars. They got some paper. Those will be the young people who will grow up to be adults, who will be your associates in adult life. And generally speaking, the vast majority of them are not only going to go to college, and they're not only going to graduate, they're going to do well in life. Okay? So if you hang out with a bunch of fucking bums, guess what? You're going to probably be a bum. If not, and keep in mind, you know, this Facebook shit, I mean, this Clubhouse goofball ass shit, in no time did I say all of them going to be fucking billionaires, and no time did I say all of them going to be bums. What I will say is this: the vast majority of them are going to do very well. And I played yesterday with a 93-year-old man. I'll post a picture. And he was talking shit the whole fucking time.
Can I just
he was playing from we let him tee the ball up at 150 on every hole.
Listen, any game that a 90-year-old can play is a game that requires less skill than the games that I play.
Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, listen, you asked about the favorite and the least favorite and blah, blah, blah. My favorite person on Clubhouse is me. And my least favorite person on Clubhouse is me. And and I'm gonna copy Santiago. This is just me, Santiago. This ain't nobody else. But the whole, and I'm off the mic and all that other shit you be saying, that shit is annoying as hell, bro. But I mean, don't change your thing because of me. I ain't nobody. But that's, I think you're trying to get attention. But that's just me.
I got a question for the room. I'm going to, if you guys haven't caught on, Unc and I, we're going to have a tournament, not a tournament, but we're going to have we're going to compete in putt golf in Las Vegas, and we're going to play full 18 holes, and I'm going to put up $1,000 of my money, he's going to put up $1,000 of his money, we will invite others and figure out ways to raise it, but Unc's already got his charity figured out. I'm debating between 3 charities, and maybe you guys can help me figure out and narrow down which charity. I'm going to give you guys these to look up. One of them is called You Are the Power. You can go look that up. They do some really good local activism. They help with a lot of things where there's like local injustice, and then you show up and you put some pressure on a city council, and you kind of get them to do the right thing, right? The other one would be Black Guns Matter, which is out of Philly. That's Maj Therese. That's his group. They basically train people in the urban community on firearm safety, things of that nature, and it's a gun advocacy group, but they're targeting the education and the safety piece within Philly and beyond. And then the third one would be, if you guys have not heard of it, it's United Hatzalah, which is a great charity that gets emergency equipment into Israel, and these folks do some amazing work. They need emergency equipment like mobile. Mobile scooters and vans and things like that. And these folks are equipped with, all of the latest first aid equipment. And with what's been going on there, they definitely need the resources. So those are the 3 that I'm thinking of. But if you guys want to give your feedback, and you can send me a private message if you feel more comfortable doing that, or if you want to put it in the chat, let me know. And at some point, we'll declare exactly which charity I'll be donating my winnings to, because I will be beating Unc at miniature golf.
Hey, I got a little production team, not mine, but you know what I'm saying, that they say they would video it, do whatever, put it on social media, blah, blah, blah.
I want to tell you guys who my least favorite person is before he gets here.
Don't say David.
No, I like David.
All right, we're back.
No, we're good. I'm good with David, but I wasn't planning. What I was trying to say was I wasn't planning on talking with him, just like I wasn't rejoining the house, like my stubbornness was on the way, but because I was typing and I couldn't recognize his voice, I thought I'm chatting with someone, but I didn't know it was him. But once that happened, I was like, oh, he sounds sane. What was that? What happened that day? No, Brent is my least person. Oh my God, he's so freaking annoying.
Hi, everybody. Hey, Roger. What's he?
Okay, the question of the room is, who's your favorite Clubhouse person of all time and your least favorite Clubhouse person of all time?
Damn, they're not even on the app anymore to be my favorite person.
Hunter Shackelford?
Oh my gosh. Shout out to Hunter and Zamani. If you were there, you were there. If you weren't, you missed that. Shout out to my abolitionists that may be on the stage and in the audience. Thank you for... And my least favorite person isn't in the room, so I'm not going to...
Monica?
Is Monica still on the app?
Oh, yeah. Monica's
Dude, Monica's a legend. I thought she got exposed. Somebody said she was a librarian. Is that true?
Librarian? Naughty librarian?
I don't know, but...
Hey, not too much on my clubhouse girl. One of my clubhouse girls.
I'll go, by the way.
Not too much on Monica.
Okay, man. I don't even know her. I'm going to say, first of all, that somebody in this room owes me an apology. They know who they are, and I'm waiting for it. You can do it privately or in public. Okay.
Put a name on it. Put a name.
I can't say it. I want to see if they will own up to it and come to me. It's a test. As far as my favorites, my least favorite, Roger, you're up there. I like you. I like Scott. Does everybody know the Reverend Scott?
Well, look, I like Scott too, but I have to tell you, the first time you hear him talking about wanting to get pegged, it's like, oh, he's being irreverent, he's being funny. But after about the 17th time, and you start realizing, like, I think he actually wants to get pegged, it gets a little weird.
No, he's unusual. He loves talking about sex, and so do a lot of us. I don't think we should kink shame him. He has a lot of political knowledge. He knows a lot about religion, man. He has a lot of good content. He's got a big heart, and so I happen to dig him. Of course, guess what? Norm. Wow, Norm always brings his A game. These are some of my favorite people. Billy, big heart. I know, boy, it seems like I'm only naming men. I'm sorry. I guess I'm kind of a bro. I'll give shout outs. Rena, she's holding it down. She's modding. She's a good mod. This woman, Elena, she really opened up my mind to the whole genealogy thing. So I appreciate her for that. She found, I was never sure of my grandmother's real name. My father's mother who died in World War II. I never knew for sure what her real first name was. So Elena helped me figure that out. So there's a lot of good people on here. And I just want to say, give shout outs, and that's it. Thanks for letting me speak. And by the way, I'll let you know, someone does owe me an apology, and they know who they are, and you can do it privately or in public. Thanks.
Hey, Raj, I want to just shout out my honorable mention team. Marvin, Marshall, El Normo, Brian, because you like my white chocolate nephew, so you know what I'm saying? That's nepotism, so I can't give you no shout out, but you know you my man, $100,000, right?
I love it. Hey, how come nobody's giving love out to the goo? We got Timok in the building. I remember there was all these celebrities that popped into Clubhouse back in the day. Like we had Justin Bieber and all these people. And I swear to God, the only person that I knew of because of Hollywood is Timok. That I felt like, I can't believe I'm in the same room. I can't believe I'm on the same thing. I can't believe I'm asking questions. I can't believe I'm having a conversation. That is a trip to me. Because look, there's movies that people everyone. You get the old school folks. They'll say Citizen Kane, greatest movie of all time. Then you get a little bit younger than that. They'll say Godfather is the greatest movie. And you have all these debates about the greatest movie. But then there's those movies you grew up with. The one that, that you wore out, in your VHS player. The ones that, that you and your brother would just, be, hey, you guys want to watch a movie? Yeah, we want to watch The Last Dragon. Again? Yeah, we want to watch it again. Like that, Time Bandits were the movies that were just over and over, on a fucking loop. And I just got to be honest, I never, if Marlon Brando were alive and we're in this room, yes, there's questions I'd want to ask him, and I recognize Marlon Brando, in my opinion, is the greatest actor of all time, but there's no Marlon, even though I've seen Godfather probably, at least a dozen times, you can put Brando's entire catalog together, and I haven't seen it as much as I've seen the one movie that I've seen time on. So, anyways,
that's the flowers that I give to him. It's just like there's something to be said about something that hits you in your childhood, whether it's a video game, whether it's a movie. But that was one of my films. Me and my brother, that was our film.
Roger, you're the best. Thank you, Roger. Thank you.
No, it's all good. And you know what's funny? The room that I first saw you in, you were talking about a bunch of spirituality stuff, and I was just like, what's this man talking about? Then I saw the name, and then I was like, oh, look at him trying to be. And then so then I went to YouTube, and I had to see you speak, right? And compare the voices and go, that's fucking him. It's fucking him. And then and I'm in a room and you're going on about spirituality and love and all this other stuff. Just when I first saw you on here, you weren't popping into political room. You didn't have no time for that nonsense. You were spreading love. And I'm in those rooms and I'm just like, man, I'm gonna raise my hand. Hopefully they'll bring me up. And then I can't have starstruck because that wasn't the vibe of that room. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna engage and pay attention to this room. I'll follow him. Maybe you'll follow me back.
I had to run away. I thought you had because you would have these temper tantrums. I said, okay, I gotta watch out for this guy.
That was hilarious. I used to stop you and it really goes afraid to be like, hey, I'm a big fan.
No, but I have that a lot of times.
The Congress has the authority to employ money and only
because whether they know me or not, it's almost like, a dog, I know it's not the right way to put it, but your dog will always love you. Your fans will always love you, Not if you, do the Diddy thing, not if you do the Will thing, they'll fall away. But if you, wash between your ears, brush your teeth, and treat people a little respectful, they'll love you forever. And I can throw a rock anywhere in the world, and there'll be a last string of fan club. So I'm done. I'm just happy about that. Thank you, Roger.
No, it's all good. I think the movie's leaving Netflix this month though, so people might want to go check it out.
It's not going anywhere. it was there before Netflix.
What movie is leaving Netflix?
The Last Dragon.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
And Randy, if you haven't seen it, you would know it when you go to look at it. And it's iconic in so many ways. The characters and I forget. Here's the crazy thing. I forget the actor's name that plays Showdown.
Julius character.
That's the one that even 10 years ago, 20 years ago, even today, if you go to a big city and you pop into a big Halloween celebration, somebody's going to be dressed as that character. And to do that 40 years later, that's something that was lasting. And it's not this didn't do E.T. revenue, right? This was the cult classic that it just, if you were at a particular age when this film came out.
I've looked it up on IMDb, so I'm with you now. It's on Columbia TriStar today, but the cast is not, it ain't A-list cast. It's kind of C-list, you know what I mean?
I don't take it personally, but I'm not into A-list or C-list. I know plenty of actors that hold their performance they're just so amazing, right?
Fair enough. I don't need to be a snob. I'm sorry. I'm trying to comment on it. Look, it looks amazing. I will check it out. It's on Netflix right now?
It is. It'll be there till the end of this month.
Cool. Thank you for the tip. I'm looking up the director, Michael Schultz. I want to see what else he's done. Oh wow, holy shit. This guy did 3 other classic movies. He did Coolie High. Oh, you're down south. Other things he did on live TV.
people are put in positions based on nepotism, based on who you know and all these kind of things. Who you fuck, who you don't fuck. You know, who you kiss the ring to, who you don't. And that's so A-list, B-list, as far as acting talent, it could be anybody could have talent as an actor, and they can be given roles, or they can be shut out from Hollywood. That's just the way it works.
Yes, what I meant, I'm using that as a shorthand for well-known actors. I'm not commenting on the talents of the people. That's all when I use that word. Looking at this gentleman here, Michael Schultz, like I said, and I get it. It's hard to make a movie. This guy's won an Oscar, so he can't get a movie right now. I see what's happening. This guy's a working director, made a lot of money. Really high, Car Wash, Grease Lightning, Which Way Is Up. That's a Richard Pryor movie. Oh, yeah.
Sergeant Pepper's, yeah.
Made Sergeant Pepper. That couldn't have been good for his career, unfortunately. But
it's good for his resume. The Beatles,
Oh, I've heard of them. Believe me, it's just that movie is the rare Beatles-related project that didn't do well. But that's okay, man. Listen, I'll keep naming what he did after that. He did I can't list everything.
Barry Gordy he was the producer. Barry Gordy, Chairman of Motown.
He worked with Barry Gordy?
No, Barry Gordy produced the film. The Chairman of Motown.
Produced Sgt. Pepper?
No. The movie I did, The Last Dragon.
Oh, dude. Oh, of course, that's a Motown movie. I'm sorry if I'm sorry. I really shouldn't even be talking because I don't know a lot about what I'm talking about. But here I am. This is the most real conversation I've had today.
Randy, check the movie out.
I'm gonna go watch it.
You know what? Just check the movie out. You just gotta check the movie out, and then imagine you're a 10-year-old and try to watch it through those eyes. Like there's something about it.
What is it, Roger? What is it, Roger?
You know I know, Roger, but what is it?
Hard to put your finger on it, right?
It's hard for me to put my finger on it, but
everybody.
But here's what I would say, is that it was definitely different than anything else that we had, and I don't know if I would have recognized it at that age, that like, and it differs from like 70s blaxploitation films. There's humor to it. There's athleticism to it. It's just pure fucking entertainment in a form factor that we just weren't used to seeing, and so it stood out. When you watch it, you're watching something that you just haven't seen before. And by the way, respectfully, I don't know if we've ever seen anything since. Like it's like they come in so hot, and then there's no real follow up. It stands, in my opinion, it stands alone. If I owned a video store and you had your employee favorites, Roger's employee favorites, it would absolutely be on that. I'm talking like it would be up there with Rocky, with Jaws. It's like,
well, it started, like I met Wesley Snipes. These people, they said this film was the film that did it for Michael J. White, Wesley Snipes, Vin Diesel, all these cats. I knew these guys when I was coming up because they came up after me. So it's really interesting, and you explained it better than I did, Roger. And I think it was smart. You said look through the eyes of a 10-year-old, because then you put aside this. I'm going to see something very serious, very significant. The significance is laid underneath everything. That's what's interesting, right?
Hey, Mac, I saw The Tale of Timmy Two Chins. I'm on your IMDb page now. I've seen a bunch of things you're in, man. You're a great actor. Okay, respect.
Hey Roger, I just wanted to say hi everybody. And let's be clear, you guys. Like one of the best classic movies of all time had a bunch of B-rated actors in it, and to this day, people still go and see it on a Friday night. And I'm talking about the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Nobody ever thought that that movie would become a cult classic. So Roger, I'm with you. I don't give a shit what Roger Ebert says about shit. If I like a movie, I'm gonna go see a movie, and I'm gonna stand by a movie. So for me, like I don't look, like you said, I don't look at actors like A, B, and C because I watch really shitty movies with A-list actors. So let's be clear, it's about a genre. It's about some of the best movies that turn into cult classics. And I'm gonna watch your movie tonight, sweetheart.
That is not all the way down south in the land of traitors and rappers. Basically, the last track of
Amazing. Wow. Well, it's interesting because there wasn't any internet in the 1980s, right? There was no, so it was like that's what made it different. I think Roger, you're really good at you should be in marketing. What do you do?
I'm in sales. We're the retarded cousin of marketers.
Yeah, no, you explained it so well. Talked about the current at the time.
It's funny we talked about. We had Laura here to talk about movie critics. There's one movie critic that I think has ever been worth a damn, and that was Pauline Kael. And I don't care if you're Leonard Maltin, Siskel, Ebert, any of those people. I wouldn't give two shits what they have to say. If they agreed with me, great. If they didn't agree with me, that's whatever. They never once influenced me to go see a movie. Pauline Kael, though, and I discovered her later, where I went on some rants telling people my opinion. I was working in a video store. I love movies, but so I was working in a video store, and I was just going off in this rant about how I hated movie critics. And this old guy, he's from New York, he's living in the Bay Area. He goes, "You ever heard of Pauline Kael?" And I'm like, "No." And then he's like, "Okay, you need to look her up." So then I look her up, and I'm looking at all these old reviews and movies that I'd never heard of, and I was like a cinephile, and I'm like, all right, let me go check, because you start seeing okay, she's got the movies that she recommends are all in your wheelhouse, but then it's but I've never heard of this, I've never heard of that, and then you're like, let me go check it out. I don't think there's anybody before or after that comes close to her, because she would go to the movies by herself. She'd obviously get paid to watch them. And then when she would write a review, these other people, you could tell that they would butter somebody's bread because of who they are. Oh, it's going to be a big movie, so I have to say something positive. She was just from her perspective. Very you felt like you had it. And no other movie critics ever made me feel like I had to watch it.
Hey Roger, did you ever watch a movie called The Gift with Kate Blanchett and Keanu Reeves and Giovanni Ribisi? It's a movie that got the fullest reviews ever. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I can't listen to a critic because I think a critic, that's their opinion. Just like everybody has an opinion. I understand that they're studying, they're educated in film, and this, that, and the third, but it's about what resonates with you. And to me, if you guys have not watched this movie, it's a 2000 movie called The Gift, and it's Anna Bayou, and it is fucking epic. So I just wanted to share a movie with you.
That's cool. I like getting recommendations, and I'll put that on the list. I do know Giovanni Ribisi quite well, and I have this theory that every film that I've ever seen him in would be 10 times better if you had peak Michael J. Fox replacing him. I mean this with even when he's playing the bad guy, even when he's on Friends, doesn't matter what it is, Gone in 60 Seconds, whatever the fucking movie, Boiler Room would be the perfect one. Boiler Room is a terrible movie in my opinion. If you replace Giovanni Ribisi with peak peak Michael J. Fox, that becomes a movie you love.
Do you not like Giovanni as an actor?
I liked him when he played the retard in the other sister.
Okay, well, here's the thing. You're gonna watch. I'm telling you guys, this isn't something. It's not and I was shocked on how good it was. It's just one of these movies where it got tanked at the theater, and I was like, then I watched it, I'm like, you freaking idiots. This is I don't watch movies more than once. I come from the radio and television industry. I own a radio and television production company, and I don't listen to what I like what I like, and I don't watch movies a lot more than once. I probably watched this movie 6 times. I like it that much.
Time out. What's your favorite movie when you were a kid?
Oh, well, when I was a kid, it was about, I was dealing with bullying and child abuse kind of thing, that kind of thing. So everything that was involving a hero was everything. That was it. So Superman, Batman. I was addicted to the comic books and TV. So I run home to literally run to kids. Black and white Superman, Spider-Man, Batman. By the time I saw Bruce Lee in a commercial, I just thought I saw God. It was like that kind of impact on me. And so I was all invested in that and as a teenager. And Kung Fu films, Shaolin, samurai films. But I also enjoyed the big stars at the time, from Sidney Poitier to Redford to Newman to McQueen and all these guys, and the English stars, But as I got more into acting, I started to look at some really, Jeremy Irons and some of these kind of dramatic movies like Louis Malle's movie Damage. I don't know. That's kind of. Have you seen that movie Damage? It's a movie about passion gone too far.
Jeremy Irons, right?
Yeah, Juliette Binoche.
Is she the one from the Colors series?
Yeah.
Red, blue.
Yeah. There's so many movies. You look at Lawrence of Arabia.
When I was a kid, because I grew up with my grandparents, and so I was watching old shit when I was a kid. I grew up watching Sinbad and Jason and the Argonauts. That's the kind of
God, yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of shit.
Travels, Roger. Gulliver's Travels, one of my favorites.
Jason and the Argonauts, man. When the skeleton army came out, where he's doing the sword fights, that was the shit.
Amazing. Yep. Amazing. All those things. But I love the life of that big spectrum.
Again, one of my other favorite movies from childhood was Time Bandits, Terry Gilliam film. And, when I watched it, I'd see the hijinks of these little people, I guess is what we call them now. We used to call them midgets in my day. I thought that shit was, that was funny, in a Three Stooges type of way. And then, I've watched it recently, and, man, that shit was so dark, and I didn't even realize just how dark that movie. The end of that movie, I don't even want to give it away. If you guys haven't seen Time Bandits, you should go watch Time Bandits. I used to think of it as it's this great, cute kids movie, and the last time I watched it, it was so dark, I was like, I don't know if I'd show it to a kid. But as a kid, I loved it. I guess I just didn't understand how dark it was when I was watching it. I was just so focused on, the midgets and their hijinks.
Yeah, look at Clockwork Orange.
Sorry, Roger, give me this again. the one where he played the railway, what do you call it, tycoon? It's his last movie that he did.
There Will Be Blood.
There Will Be Blood. Oh my God. I got goosebumps. Right?
CBS
I can talk about movies all day.
Did you see the SNL skit on There Will Be Blood on Sam Allen?
No, I guess I have to YouTube it.
No, YouTube is ridiculous.
I love that.
Tom, here's a name that you don't hear mentioned in 2024 anymore, at least not in circles that talk about movies. But when martial arts movies were like really popular, like you had Van Damme, and this is like post, obviously who opened the door for so many people, but you have Van Damme and you had Steven Seagal doing their thing, but Jeff Speakman, Perfect Weapon, doing Kimbo, like it was interesting. Is that guy still in good shape and still respected in martial arts circles? Like, if you talk to people in martial arts about Steven Seagal, they'll laugh, right? But if you talk to them about Jeff Speakman, they'll be like, yeah, that guy's legit.
Yeah, I haven't met him, and it's what I like about him, even though I haven't met him or even was really into him when he came out. I like the fact that you don't see him out there. You kind of get what I'm saying? He's not like someone hungry that is just trying to be seen and all that in Hollywood. I kind of like that about that guy.
Yeah, he's legit. That was a good movie too. The Steven Seagal movies, like, to me, they all kind of blend into one. Like, in fact, Van Damme is the same way to me. Like Kickboxer and I don't even remember all the names, but he was always fighting in some damn tournament.
But it was the formula, Roger. They had to make money, so they said, okay, his split, he's cute. Let's keep him in splits. It appealed to a certain crowd. And they just repeated it. Same thing with Schwarzenegger. When they find that niche, it's cha-ching for them, so they try to repeat.
There's some movies that you watched in your childhood that you can't go back and watch. There was one movie I watched that you really liked as a kid, American Ninja, and then you watched that years later. This is awful. Gymkhana was another one that I liked as a kid. It's awful. But then there was movies that those movies were emulating that are really good that nobody talks about, like Revenge of the Ninja. That was really good. But nobody talks about it.
What's the SNL when he passed away? It was really, really, really funny. Chris
Farley. Yeah.
Yeah. He did the Three
You
Ninjas.
mentioned that van down by the river.
He did that movie, Three Ninjas. It was so good, so funny. You remember that?
I do. Didn't he get hurt for real doing some of the stunts in that movie?
He just did so many outrageous things. So physical, his expressions. He's such a funny guy.
He died of cocaine overdose.
Yeah. The old white powder gets a lot of those guys.
Hey, do you remember a martial arts movie called Kill Squad?
Sounds familiar.
It is like the premise was this, military group. Hey, we're putting the group back together. Somebody mysteriously got killed, so we're putting the group back together, and they all have like their different strengths and weaknesses and whatnot. And then one by one they keep dying, and then like it's you find out that it's one of the guys from their group that was killing people, and then they have the final showdown. Anyways, it is B movie as fuck, but I saw it in a theater, and there's something about being in a theater that kind of sears certain images into your head in a different way than watching it on a small screen.
You're not distracted,
Yeah, and so Kill Squad, it's not worth watching. Don't go watch it. But as a kid watching it with your popcorn on a big screen, I'll never fucking forget that. I'm probably the only person that I know that's I was just wondering, like, in martial arts circles, if that's a movie that ever.
I'm gonna check it out. I may have seen it. I've seen so many. I might have seen it. I'll
try to look out for it. I wrote a poem when I was acting, and then I was boxing and kickboxing with a lot of guys. I was kind of trying to find myself. Would you be interested in hearing a poem I wrote about it?
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Yeah? Have some fun. Okay, this is called The Sweet Science. Okay, here we go. If I could take my pain and put it on a canvas, it would look like something like this. Left hooks rolling off my shoulder and hard and pulling to the foreside, throwing till I win the cigar. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Woo-ah! Come on, try and catch me. Jazz bouncing off my head, all I can do is fight back, wish you were dead. Come on, suck it up, work your way back in. Bite down your mouthpiece, it's not your fucking friend. Making your bitch to be sewn up stitch by stitch is I gotta get you. I gotta find my beat.
Jesus.
Bacon on all these lights and all this heat. Let's get ready to rumble as I stumble back to my feet for another chance to put a sweet defeat. Could have been a contender. Fuck that. Kick his ass so hard he can grab his head. Step by step, inch by inch, behold the power of a master. Cause I was looking for love in all the wrong places. I'm in the bloody ring, spit my membranes into a bucket till the bell goes dang. Bobbing, weaving till I hear the judge's call. They love me. They really love me. Split decision. What's a call? A draw? No, I want more. Seeing his ass on the canvas floor. I want a knockout so everyone can see that I'm a master at work. You know, they pay to see me. I can't go back home and tell my boys that I lost. No way, I'm the man. They gotta know that I'm lost. I fought to the death like a real man should. Even my mama said, if he puts his hands on you, make sure to make him pay. So stay tuned for more sweet times. As I said, you will see. I can kick some ass, maybe 2, maybe 3. On the canvas, I lay the law. Sweat, funk, dirty showers, dirty drawers. This is insane. Love was the only pleasure that was worth so much pain.
Damn. Randy, what do you think of that?
I need the applause sound. Hold on, let me do it. That's kind of good. You act like I just gave you the applause.
Talk about you should show up like in college towns that have like they'll have that coffee shop that'll like do like slam poetry. Don't tell anybody who the fuck you are. Just get up there and just spit that shit.
That's friendship. That's funny, yeah. They have a place called Eureka Cafe, but it's temporary closed. I looked at it today. I was gonna go there. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that could be a huge hit. That'd be cool. So, how old were you when you wrote that?
I wrote that about 20 years ago. But I'm not really someone who likes to, get on the computer and write. It's not my thing. Like, I act better and train. But when I do write and I get into it a bit, I can come up with something good, yeah. What about you?
It's funny. I don't think I have the creativity for that type of stuff. I'm like, it's funny talking about how I don't like movie critics, but I'm hypercritical of things that any type of art. I'm not the person that just goes and willy-nilly appreciates shit. It's like, to me, it's got to be a vibe that vibes with me. So there's genres within genres, right? My favorite film genre is the Italian mafia movies. But in my opinion, there's only a handful of them that are good. But the handful that are good are among the best movies that are ever made, right? Godfather 1, Godfather 2, Goodfellas. You can make it.
What about Casino?
Because I think Casino's overrated. I think it's Goodfellas light in colorful suits. It just doesn't have the same feeling to me. I think Scarface is highly overrated. There's so much of these gangster films that I'm just not a fan of. But the genre itself is some of the best shit. I guess I'm so selective because I think you can make an
three best movies of all time are Godfather, Godfather 2, and Goodfellas. You can make that argument, and again, there'll be an argument against it, but people would acknowledge that those three movies are definitely up there, right? But because of that, it's like it's got this tier that nothing else can touch, and so that any time you watch a gangster film, it's kind of like, which, and this is a question I'd have for you, Time, is doing martial arts movies. Do you feel like whether yourself or anyone else that's doing it is always going to be like, well, you're never going to be Bruce Lee? Because to me, I look at, like those types of films, and even when like Tarantino's paying homage to, to the genre and doing Kill Bill, it's like he's doing this over-the-top stylized violence and weaving in dialogue, and he's making it so different that it's like, to me, it doesn't even feel competitive with watching like a Bruce Lee movie. But I just wonder, how would you then become the next big star in those kinds of movies? If we've had them, Van Damme, we've had Seagal, but anybody that was around watching Bruce Lee movies kind of sits around watching the newer stuff and laughs at it.
Yeah, because Bruce Lee was like the Michael Jackson to martial arts. He just put the peg in the ground, they call it, right? He's the one who everybody said, wow, right? It's like Bogart for those kind of movies. It's like, huh? Somebody say something? No. I think in the time, there was nothing like him, So it's like Muhammad Ali, right? At the time, there wasn't a boxer that was like that. It's like even, you may not like his character or anything, but for MMA, Conor McGregor was that guy who put MMA on the map as far as, the big audiences. Tell me your question again, Roger. I'm sorry.
Yeah, how can you approach being in a martial arts film knowing that Bruce Lee exists and just knowing that no matter what you do, no matter what the story is, no matter what the energy is, this is never going to you know what I mean?
You can't go in there with that type of mindset at all. It'll never work if you think like that.
Yeah, Raj, I'd even ask you to do it for the mob movies. They're going to make a Peaky Blinders movie next year that I think is the first time. I'm with you. The great troika of mob movies with Goodfellas, the two Godfather movies, were always.
Peaky Blinders is hands down one of my favorite shows of all time.
Oh yeah, and Cillian Murphy, and I don't know if it's the British twist to it or his acting ability, but it's the closest thing I've seen to the first Godfather with respect to sort of the integrated, fully violent, full frontal mob, British mob, in this case a British mob, family running an empire, and you get to see at a granular level them running the empire, which you didn't get to see in Godfather, which I think distinguished it. There's a Peaky Blinders movie they're making? Yeah, it's going to be released next year. They started filming it several months ago, and they got, they lost a couple of the actresses, but all the surviving actors, other than a couple of the two women who didn't survive, actually died, but it's going to be largely intact, including.
But that's like a Game of Thrones, right? They try to do the follow-up. When they always, like what Roger was talking about, someone going into a performance, trying to be as good or as someone that, really made a big splash. You can't go in there like that. You have to bring your best, and you have to be original and unique, and you have to gather the right crew. It's not easy. It's not easy.
So back to the Peaky Blinders thing. Spoiler alert. If you haven't watched Peaky Blinders, whatever, I'm about to ask a question of the fans of the show.
What did you think of the story arc of the youngest brother? What did you think of his story arc?
Yeah, I was disappointed that he did not extend. I wanted him to be part of the legacy that could have evolved it into a longer running, series. And I forget his transgression against his brother, but I thought it was an overreaction by Cillian Murphy's character.
It's just a weird story from the original gangsters in Birmingham, England. And they literally wore razor blades in the front of their berets. And I'm sorry, it's one of the best series, the soundtrack to that series, forget it. Best music written for television ever, in my opinion.
Well, what I liked about it, he gets that away, right? And so Karacha isn't there right now, and so he has an advantage over us in that category of domains, right? Now, he probably the first to say, he probably felt trying to do what I'm doing right now. But if he could, no, I'm trying to do my method, my 1%, I'm selling around, which 2,000 or whatever it is.
The version of Stairway to Heaven,
I'm quite confident.
stop it. I'm telling you guys, I literally
but again, he doesn't need to, right?
reached download this on Spotify, the soundtrack to the show. That's for me, with the visuals and the acting, it's even honestly, I have a hard on.
For me, for many years,
So real quick,
last year,
before you move, and I would love to hear Roger's input on this too.
And interest and all that stuff, right?
I think if we were to draw a parallel to the Godfather, movies and Peaky Blinders, I think that what the youngest brother did would be the equivalent of what Fredo did. And I used to feel like Fredo, Michael could have let him live. Now, as my mature grown self, I think that
Michael Steiger and Andrew Allman, this is the three of us in Alberta. Like, those two guys are responsible for their podcast combined with Steamy, because Steamy I watched, many times 3 hours a day, and all I would listen to was old Sherpas and old domain name wires. And because of those two guys and Steamy, I got a lot of my knowledge, and I, combined it with all my life stuff, put all that together in a package, and I'm doubling my money every year for the last 3, 4, 5 years. It's like, okay, it's pulled me out of debt, and I'm really excited about it now. Now I'm looking at, okay, might be changing categories a bit. I'm looking at maybe getting some different, higher price domains. Even though the last batch I've stopped this year, I've bought a few domains in the, 3 figures and whatever it is. I used to be the cheapest domainer out there. I was proud to be the cheapest domainer for a long time, right? But I want to try new things, and that's again, as I'm progressing in this industry, I want to be able to try out different things, and part of it is a portfolio stuff. And I do know there are buyers out there, right? But again, part of that is where I'm placed, because I did Name Cult for 4 years, and I was putting a list out every single day. I do have some contacts in that sense, and I do know what certain people want, and it's not the same thing for everybody. But I'm putting together a package of stuff that I think there's a few people that might be interested in, right? Not for everybody. And in fairness, there's certain people who, if they're my friends, I wouldn't even want them to get it, because they might not. I'm not the people who do the work to put them on Afternic and all that stuff and be organized and price them and whatever it is, right? And it's not for everybody. If Drew Rosner bought my portfolio, he'd probably just slack off and not do all the work and whatever it is, because it's a lot of work for a lot of domains. But again, if you know what you're doing, certain portfolios can be better in certain people's hands than others.
I don't know what's up with my microphone. I'm sorry, I couldn't get the mic open. Yeah, I agree with that there. I mean, again, I believe, of course, as eclectic as your portfolio. Well, I shouldn't use that word because I don't know your portfolio. I shouldn't say eclectic, so I'll take that back. I know my portfolio is very relevant. I have variable categories that may be have a certain synergy to certain target niches for myself around photography or media or things of that nature. And you know, if I don't know, if I were to, I don't know how I could possibly make for my portfolio, putting together a portfolio out of my portfolio to sell as a lot sale. What do you call it? What are you calling yours as a lot sale? As a bulk
portfolio, yeah. But
yeah,
I want to stress, like Todd went off a little bit over there, but he's not necessarily wrong in most cases, right? Every case is different, right?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
The majority of people who try to do like a portfolio thing, it's because it's the stuff they're going to drop, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It's different because I haven't dropped this stuff, right? This is stuff I've had my portfolio, and every year, 99% of every year, I've decided they were good enough, right? Jimmy New and whatever it is. So, but again, like what Todd says, it's not incorrect in most situations, right? Most people don't necessarily have the characteristics in their stuff. It might not even be bad domains, but I mean, if for you it's photography domains, but most domainers don't really know about photography, then you're not going to have much luck selling off your stuff at a wholesale because the other people looking to buy will not understand the value of those domains, right? It doesn't mean they're bad domains. It just means that there's, the people that you want to buy just don't understand that.
But the 100 photographer friends that I have in my Rolodex, actually probably about 500 photographer friends. Those 500 people, I can consider offer to say these 50 domain names. I'm not saying I got 100 in that space, but let's just say I got 50 in that space. They're my target. They are a target demographic for those for domains. Even if I was selling them at $50, far greater than trying to sell them at $32.99.
Yeah, but at that point, you're doing a lot of energy and time and outbounding, right? To do it $50, I don't know if it's worth your time. It might be, right? I'm not going to judge. Everybody's different.
No, but Eric, no, I don't know what part you're missing. You're missing this here. How strategic would it have to be for you to find that one person that has that can understand the intrinsic value that you're putting on your domain names because of everything that you just got done saying? You got the professionalism in being able to acquire those domain names, number one, and then number two, of how you're selling your domain names at that percentage point that is far above the average. You have to find that particular person. How many people do you know that could be the secondary of Earth that want to buy that portfolio of 800 domain names?
Jeff, I'm saying is that because of my stuff in the Cult and on the socials, I do have a small Rolodex, not small,
right?
Not large, but there are. I do have potential buyers who would be interested.
I got it. Stop right there. Now, is that for the buyers to take and buy your domain names? I'm just saying hypothetically, because price point is everything. Is that the buyers that will buy your domain names at $500 each because it's a $3,000 or $4,000 domain name?
No.
Or to buy at let me hear or to sell it to them at the $50 or the $25. Because what I'm saying with 100 photographers, the photographers that's in my space that I know, that I got these relationships that I've talked to, that I got networkings going on, that I got relevancy and whatnot there. I don't think you have to be a brain surgeon to know that a specific name in the particular category that we all vie to maybe own in certain sectors of doing photography, they wouldn't have that much of a problem paying $50 for that name to serve them well as being either the landing page or the funnel page or even the business page to do their business on in comparison to what they're doing. There's a lot of switching, there's a lot of pivoting that has always been in the marketplace with photographers to go away from owning JeffBrooksPhotography.com or Todd Ryan Photography.com to get more unique and specific into doing a category of photography services. I mean, this is what I know.
Well, somebody will be interested in buying one of them for $50, but another photographer not going to go, you want to sell me 50 for $2,500? I don't want, even if they're all really great stuff, I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
That's your business. Why don't you keep it? just sell it. And you're going to think, well, I'm just giving you this big discount. I normally sell them for $5,000 each, and I'm selling to you for $50 each for 50 of them. And they're thinking,
I'm sorry, hey, Todd, I'm sorry. And to your point, you're right. You're right, because I wasn't, I'm sorry, Todd, I wasn't making the assessment of being able to sell them to as a bulk for $50. I was going to make the point of reference only saying that I got many photographers that will buy them individually for $50. So there's a big difference of buying a $50 domain name than buying a portfolio of 100 domain names for $50 each. I don't have no photographer that's going to do that.
Right.
You understand?
I mean, I know what you're saying. There's a chance there could be one out of 100 that think, you know what, I've been dying to get into another business, and some of these are just gems, and you actually sell them. But to get the Eros point, yeah, I'm sure he has some people that are interested in his names. Yeah, you have a lot interested for $1 each, maybe, and then maybe less than $2 each, less than $20 each, a lot less than $20 each. Hold on.
No, but you're cutting dust. You're talking $1, $2. Come on, you're saying you're talking nonsense.
That's $2 for 800 names is $1,600. And plus, there's renewals. That's $8,000 in renewals. So yeah, you think, well, who's going to pay? Well, you know why they're going to pay only $2 per name? Because they only wanted 5 of them that they're willing to pay $50 or $100 for, and all the rest they don't want. But you're making them get it. But you're thinking, oh, you got to want all these things. Just give them like.
That's what I agree with. I agree with Todd on that. Go ahead, Todd.
Let me say this about you mentioned Andrew Allen and like Logan Flat. I'm not impressed with these guys' domain investing skills, and they share all their numbers. I'm glad they do. Doesn't mean I need to be impressed just because they're profitable. Hold on, I'm fucking talking.
I'm saying. You're taking me out of context.
I'm not saying you were impressed. I'm talking about my opinion is domainers want you to be impressed with them if they're profitable. Well, I just gave you 2 guys that are profitable. Andrew Allen has been doing it for years, and Logan Flat, and I know they share their numbers inside and out. I'm not impressed with even what they do, and they make spent $50,000 or more than and sold 150,000, 200,000 out of Logan. I'm not impressed, and they're considered some of the top ones. Mark Levine, I'm more impressed with, but almost because of some of the other things he's done. But my point is, domainers, that's like Mike Mann. A lot of people aren't impressed with Mike Mann. I need to know more. I like the risks that he takes and the money that he spends. But my point is, some people aren't impressed with Mike Mann. I'll tell you what I'm impressed with are the guys over at
transparency. He doesn't have full transparency. We don't know what his sell-through rates are. We just know he's made some sales, but like, does it pay for his portfolio? He's reached out to get investors a couple of times, so that would lead me to think maybe not. But who knows? Maybe he needs fast money or whatever it was. But again, unless you know the full story, it's just hard to say whether something's good or bad.
Very cool. Hey, I want us to move away from that. We got some good friends in the audience. I would love to have others come up here and we could talk. I would like to still continue to talk about the closing of this year, going into next year, goals and objectives, how we see this industry going. I would love to talk about some news in the domain community, especially if we got Todd here. David is down below. I'm quite sure David won't mind coming up here if we even talk about some news and some possible, where we may think this domain and community, domain world is going in 2025. We got a new president that's going to be taking off for January the 20th. There's going to be, I think a great shift that's going to go on with our economy within the next couple of years. I think it's going to get a whole lot better. Not necessarily just Trump coming into office. I think it's just time for reflections with a lot of people's lives right now there with things that's got to be changed economically with individuals, even as we live. Of course, we want the government to do the great part that they can do with keeping the economy free flowing, with being able to live outside of a recession means and whatnot there. So I'm just optimistic about I'm optimistic